on YouTube. It's going to be first link to join a stream. Anyone that wants to join debate night. We are doing debates and reactions. I'll be reacting to some content as people come in and out for debate night. But a few pieces of the content that I'll be reacting to today is going to be the Theo Von and Candace Owens interview. A lot of my supporters sent me that. They were like, Cooley, I just want to get your reaction on this. I've never checked out the interview, so I'm going to watch it and pretty much kind of play that through. Then we're also going to react to the drama that's going on the Breakfast Club with Just Hilarious. I've seen little clips of that via Instagram, and it's telling. I'll give you guys my perspective on that. And then we got a whole lot of other clips that some of our supporters and our members sent me. So I'll give you my reactions on those clips and stuff as well. So tonight is debates and reactions. We're going to be going in and out from debates and reactions as people come up. If you want to debate on any topics, if you want to debate dating and relationships, male and female intersexual dynamics, politics, religion, anything of that sort, come and join the stream. If you disagree with some of the clips that you've seen me in, come and join the stream and let me know what you disagree with. Give me your opinions, your perspectives, if they're different than mine, if you have a different world view, if you just view the world differently than me, tonight's your night. You can become famous if you want. Some of my debates go really, really viral. Then there's other ones where it's just, good conversation and, it is what it is. But yeah, it's open to the public for debate night. You don't have to send me anything. You don't have to do anything but have your microphone on and your camera on, and you can go right from your phone. And that's going to be the first link in the YouTube description. It's also the link that's pinned in a live chat on YouTube. The next link is going to be for the membership. Go ahead and join the membership. We got 3 tiers. The next link is going to be for one-on-one coaching. Then we also have the Clips channel as well. I will be doing something with the Clips channel where most likely, since we are going to be ending the full panel in-person girl show in May, the Clips channel, I'm going to pretty much turn that into more of reactions, and then the main channel is going to be for debates. Now, it doesn't mean that, I won't do a panel of women, virtual. Yeah, I'll bring some women on virtual. I've already did that before a few times. I did virtual streams with 5 or 8 women before, virtual streams. So I'll still do that. But as far as in person, that's going to be stopping in May. I did announce this already previously. If you watched my previous stream, I already gave the announcement that the full panel, dating and relationship, in-person podcast that you all grown to love is going to be ending in May. It seems, and from what the numbers and the supporters tell me, you like the debates just as much as you like the dating and relationship content. With that being said, I've been doing the dating and relationship content for 2.5 years, almost 2.5 years. And I started doing debates for a year. And just already my debates do just as good as the, girl show. So I'm like, you know what? I kind of have more fun doing, the debates anyway. And reacting to, certain content that y'all send me in, and I, psychoanalyze it and break it down and give y'all my raw perspective on things. And it seems like you guys have been enjoying that content. So I'm going to continue to give you that content. The dating and relationship content, that's going to come as it comes. Now, it doesn't mean that, probably would still, not probably, I have things scheduled to still collaborate with, some other big YouTubers as well, in the next few months. So you will be seeing me on some other podcasts. I'm not going anywhere as far as dating and relationships. I'm a master at that. I'm a Jedi. I am a Jedi. But as far as just content in general, it's like, you guys don't even understand how not really hard it is, because I've did it and I made it seem effortlessly as far as recruiting girls for the full panel shows and getting them. First, actually, let's just bring it back. When I first started the podcast, I was only doing one podcast per month. One podcast per month. And it was pre-recorded for like the first 3 months. I didn't even know how to do it live. I just was like, hey man, let's just get things going. I didn't even know that I needed Restream or Streamlabs or any of this stuff. It was all new to me. So I'm like, it was kind of pre-recorded for the beginning, and it was just one show a month. But my episodes was still going pretty good. It was getting some good views. It was getting some good traction. Then my little short clips would get a lot of traction as well. Then I started doing live shows, and I would do 2 live shows per month, and that was for a long time. Then it went into doing 1 live show per week. So I was giving you 4 full panel dating and relationship content per week. Then I took it back just recently, not that recently, maybe it's kind of been for a few months now, almost about 6 months. I've been giving you 2 shows per month as far as dating and relationship content. And this has been the idea of it anyway, chat. So this has always been the plan, to do the dating and relationship content, sprinkle a little bit of Jesus and God in there, get you guys hip to my worldview, start debating people, and fully start transitioning to, debating and giving you my perspective on the worldly events that happen, and, content that tends to go viral or get some traction, give you my perspective on that. So that's what No Fugazee is going to be converting into, which, you guys probably already seen it anyway. It's not a surprise. It's like, okay, he's doing debates. Okay. Not doing those many girl shows, more debates. Okay. And it's just a slight smooth transition for you guys. Okay. And the numbers don't lie. It looks like this, which I want. So, I'm giving it to y'all. Let's see here. All right, let's get into the first content that I'm going to be reacting to. And sorry about those audio issues there in the beginning of the podcast, but it looks like the audio is all good now. Let me go ahead and check the comments real quick on YouTube. Now, as far as Instagram and Facebook, I'll be staying live on Instagram and Facebook for about 30 minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and close down the Instagram Live and the Facebook Live. And if you're enjoying the content, come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. All right. And once again, anyone that wants to join the stream, come on up. I got you. All right, let's get into the first clip. And I got some good stuff. The Just Hilarious and the Theo Von / Candace Owen. But before we get into that, let's just get into some small little content that the supporters be sending me. Let's go. All right, here's a first clip from one of the supporters that sent in. Actually, they sent this in on a last stream. I actually just didn't get a chance to get to it. So I'm going to get to it now for you guys. Malcolm X versus DEI programs. Let's hear what Malcolm X said back then.
We feel that with the black man spending $20 billion a year, not setting up any businesses, not creating any industry, not creating any job opportunities for his own kind, he's not in a moral position to point the finger today at the white man and tell the white man that he's discriminating against him for not giving him a job in factories that he himself set up. If the black man has $20 billion, and these so-called Negro leaders are such geniuses that they can integrate white restaurants and integrate white factories and force themselves into that which the white man has set up, they should use this same ingenuity to show the black people how to pool our wealth and set up something of our own. We feel...
This is deep. So even, Malcolm X back then, as far as the, DEI programs, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, he's pretty much saying that black people don't even have a moral reason to be coming at the white man saying, give me these opportunities and stuff like that, where they haven't actually built anything for themselves. That's actually very deep, very deep. Because if you think about it, it's like, so all human beings, we have agency, meaning that we have responsibilities and we have accountability. So as a free-willed human being that has agency, it's up to you to create opportunities for yourself in life without always relying on someone giving you opportunity. Now, I do know that, being given opportunities, that is a good thing. I do believe in, that we should be giving people, be giving people opportunities. But within that should, if you are not given an opportunity, it's up to you to create the opportunity yourself, because you are responsible for your own life and you are accountable. So with that being said, the way Malcolm X, prefaced this is like, I don't think you're even morally obligated to be complaining to the white man if you didn't actually already go out there and create businesses of your own and create things for yourself. Now, the rabbit hole goes deep on this, because you can say that prior to, Jim Crow and everything, or in the Jim Crow era, black people, Black Wall Street, black people was creating things for self and, for their community, and that was obliterated via KKK, via some government influence as well there. But even within all of that, when you're creating anything, you must protect the things that you create. So I think that, what Malcolm X is saying here is facts, and it holds weight to even in today's time. So yeah, if anyone has any disagreements with Malcolm X or myself, go ahead and click that first link so I can bring you into debate, or click the link in the live chat. And I'll bring you on to debate, I guess, DEI programs if, you want to get your worldview obliterated on that. And I guess we can get much deeper on that conversation too. All right, let's get into the next clip. But yeah, man, Malcolm X, he was a wise man. All right, next clip, what we got here?
Really, I don't like it when a black person tells me that black people can't be racist, that we can't be racist. Because I know what they're talking about. They're talking about institutional racism, you know what I'm saying? Like oppressing different groups of people and like creating gaps in society and all that stuff. And they're like, JD, we can't do that. We don't have enough power. We don't have enough structure to, you know what I'm saying, create wage gaps and oppress people and, just have a generational advantage over everybody else. We can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, we can't. Not with that attitude. We can't, there's no way we can oppress everybody else if we don't believe in ourselves. I can be whatever I want. Stop putting limits on me. I can be racist. I don't like it when.
That's interesting. Funny perspective. I mean, yeah, I see what he's saying there. Let's get into the next clip. That was actually pretty funny. That was a good spin on that topic there. A nice good spin on it. Let me check something with the audio on this real quick. Okay, just was making sure the audio was good on the clip that I played. It wasn't too good in my headphones, but it was all right. Looks like it was perfect when I played it back just now. All right. Seems like we got some people joining up for a debate. And let me go ahead and bring up the first caller for debate night. Then I'll get into some more clips that we're going to react to. Let's stop sharing that. Gonna make that bigger. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name and where you're from.
Greetings, Jack Talcott out of Spokane, Washington.
Cool. What's up, man? What you here to debate about today?
Well, admittedly, I'm not sure. I recently discovered you. It looks like I'm a little behind as far as the numbers go. I'm a little behind in discovering you, but I admire your ability to communicate. And my favorite topics are politics, economics, and religion. And peace is my purpose.
Okay, cool. All right, man. So I guess we can get a little bit of your worldview. Are you more, if it's politics, what's your political views? Are you more of a conservative or a Democrat or liberal?
A little bit of a radical.
On which end?
I consider myself a true follower of Christ. I stand against the opposition of, well, the corruption in our governments, our corporations, the banking system. It's all built on lies and secrets. And I believe that our Father sent us here to the world to be the light in the darkness, to shine the light for others, to help others overcome their own patterns of self-destruction. And it's time for America to change. It's time for an intervention, I believe.
Okay, well, I'll ask you two questions to see which side of the radical extreme that you're on. I guess that would help me and the audience to understand your worldview a little bit. So first question is, do you believe that a man can be a woman?
That's a hard one for me to answer. I don't know. The transgender topic I haven't had personal experience with or interactions. I don't know.
Got it. So with that whole transgender, well, with that question, you just don't know if a man can be a woman. Okay. Fair enough. Another question for you. In regards to, so you would say that you would consider your views as a little bit more liberal then? Okay. Did you vote for Trump or Kamala? Neither. Or did you not vote?
I voted for neither.
Okay. I figured that from what you said in the beginning, you seemed like you probably just didn't vote, which makes sense too from with your opening statement and how you explain things. You said that you're against like corruption and stuff like that. Okay. All right. So guess you're a little bit more liberal then. So a question for you. Are you in a relationship or no? Are you married or anything?
Not currently, no.
Not currently. And in the relationships that you've been in, did you lead those relationships or was it equal or did your woman lead those relationships?
The last relationships I had were unhealthy and codependent. Probably they led in the past, but I've changed since then.
Got it. So, okay, you've changed. So would you say that you've got poor results when you allow the woman to lead versus you leading?
I would say that in the times where I trusted them to lead, yeah, but it wasn't a full they led. It was, like I said, it was just chaos. Chaos led the two of us is what it was.
Well, I mean, like when I mean lead, like who had the final decision? Like, were you the final decision maker or did you yield to the woman because she would like maybe withhold sex for compliance or, maybe try to do little tactics to get her way by, using emotional manipulation to control your behaviors?
That was the pattern I developed as a young man, yes.
Got it. And you said that you've totally grown out of those patterns?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. A lot of young people tend to have those patterns via the feminist movement. Would you consider yourself a male feminist or no?
It could potentially be said. That depends on perspective, I guess.
Perspective? All right, what's your perspective of feminism then?
Well, masculinity and femininity, I believe, have been kind of misunderstood in our modern day society. Femininity, the feminine aspects has its own strengths and qualities, but the masculine is here to protect and lead.
I'm speaking about feminism, not femininity. So the feminism movement, and that movement, consists of egalitarian views of, women viewing men as oppressors and viewing the woman as being oppressed, and wanting to destroy the patriarchy and stuff like that. So are you a male feminist or no?
No, I understand their perspective, but no, I don't lean with those arguments for myself.
Okay, fair enough, man. So here's what I would say. I mean, there's a lot of different. I'm kind of just asking you questions to see maybe where we have some disagreements on. I would say we definitely have maybe a few disagreements 100% disagreement in the man can be a woman aspect, or a man can't be a woman aspect. So why don't you know if a man can be a woman or not? Like, why don't you know that answer? Why don't you know the answer to that question?
Perhaps I do, and maybe I had a insecurity in answering it. Maybe I avoided. I believe there is. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. But who they love, I don't know if they can control that or not.
Who they love, you don't know if they can control that. So love would be, you consider love a feeling or more of a duty?
Love is a mysterious power. I
Okay.
believe it's an aspect of our Creator.
Okay. So love is a mysterious power aspect of our Creator. So if someone loves you, how do you know if they love you if you don't know their feelings? Because they can tell you how they feel, but you actually don't know if they're being honest. What you truthfully can do is, you can observe their actions to tell if they love you. So within actions correlates to more of a duty, a purpose, what you do. And then in regards to if it's a feeling, that's more of something that's subjective to that person's view and how they say they feel, but we can't verify that. It's unverifiable. With that being said, I'll ask you the question again. Is love a feeling or a duty?
In those regards, it's certainly a duty.
Yeah. So since love is a duty, and we're speaking about homosexuality and transgenderism when it comes to a man wanting to be a man and a man wanting to be a woman, or a woman wanting to be a man, and you said that, well, I don't think that they can control who they love. So if love is not a feeling and love is a duty, they can control who they love. Like that? Yeah, it's logic right there.
I'd enjoy talking to you, my friend.
Yeah.
May I deflect the topic?
Sure, go ahead, man.
All seriousness, we're living at a very crazy time here on Earth. We all know it. I'm convinced that it's time for the truth to be set free. As it said, the truth shall set us free. When it's freely shared without the non-disclosure agreements, without the oaths and allegiances, our world will have fewer enemies. And when our world has fewer enemies and the banking establishment doesn't have everyone working as wage slaves voluntarily, paying for wars, and it's time. I'm hoping to be a part, and I reached out to you because I'm hoping to connect with other people who are successful, who are strong in mind and able to communicate clearly. You stand out.
Yeah. So, I mean, what you said, I understand what you mean. So everything that we, observe and everything and how we interact with one another, all of our interactions and everything is all based off of a value system. And that value system is based off of our ability to measure things because, we measure time, we measure everything. Within that, the banking systems and stuff like that, these are things that's always going to be around, is because human beings, we have these innate measuring systems. So since we can measure something, we know what something that's good, something that's bad, something that's, it's very rare. So if I have it and it's more valuable. So we have these systems embedded into our biology on how we view the world. Right? So I get what you're saying, but within the entire spill of what you laid out, there's no way to get around it but through Jesus Christ. And I say that to say, human beings, we cannot balance ourselves. This is why Jesus came, to give balance, to give order. So, I mean, we could have that discussion, or you can, as a person, as an individual, you can be fixated on these things of why it's not fair. It needs to be this way. It needs to be that way. Before we can get to how things should be, we got to just understand how things are. You know what I mean? How the world operates. So within that, these value systems and stuff that we hold, it's not going anywhere because, there's always going to be bad apples out there that's going to take advantage of systems. And there's going to be good people that's, trying to fix things. But even within that, you got to think about it. Even if you are a believer in Jesus, Jesus was already here on this world and he couldn't do it either. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. Actually, what he did was just give us a way. Give us a way out. Listen, I'm the way. So he didn't actually, it wasn't, the fixing was his way. You follow me. Don't follow the, fleshful, material, earthly things of this world. If you follow me, I am the way. But if you follow anything else, well, there's no fixing that. That is that. It's always going to be that. So I get what you're saying, man. But within that, the quick solution to that, if you are a believer in Christ, is just Jesus. So, yeah. But good conversation, man. I don't want to hold you up. I want to get some other people in here. I got some other clips to react to as well, man. But good convo, and I appreciate the call.
Thank you, brother.
Have a blessed one. All right, chat. Go ahead and hit that like button. We live right now. No Fugazee podcast. If you're enjoying the content, like the show. Want to get some more people up here. Let's see. I got some clips I want to get to as well, but let me get some more people in here. That was a quick convo. Wasn't really a debate. So yeah. Welcome to No Fugazee podcast. State your name and where you're from.
Jay. I'm from Vegas.
Jay from Vegas. What's going on, man? You here to debate?
Not necessarily debate, because there's a lot of things that I agree with you on in regards to the topic. But you brought a clip up of Malcolm X, and my thing was that is like we got a lot of people who agree with Malcolm's views and agree that we should do for ourselves, but it's just agreement. I don't really see much action. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to agree with what the man is saying, but if you just sit on the couch not doing anything, not actually, putting your best foot forward toward the cause, it's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, so one of my questions is to you is like, have you done anything in the Black community, like, push that agenda, or is it more so you just being in agreement with what Malcolm is saying?
Yeah, so I mean, in regards to your question, have I done anything personally to help out Black people other than just my family? I would say in regards to my coaching program, I would say I help out a lot of relationships, but in regards to economically, no, I haven't. I can be 100% honest with you. I haven't really, I would say that if I'm being honest, that isn't my purpose. My purpose isn't to just, help out the black community. Of course, would I want to see the black community prosper and, we all pick ourselves up and be the best versions of ourselves and come together like these other, ethnic groups, like as far as the Punjabis, they come to America and they live in, one house and they all work in this one house, 6 people, and they put their money together and they invest into a gas station or they invest into a trucking company and they build like that. For sure, man, I would love to see it. I would love to see how immigrants come over and start things up. But black people, we've been here and we don't have too much started like that. So yeah, I would like to see it. Am I actively doing things to make that possible? I would say no, I am not.
That's my son. He just crawled in the car. But
all good, man. In regards to the YouTube stream, though, we can't have any kids on camera. So if you mind positioning your camera in a way.
Yeah, go to Papa. Yeah, sorry about that. But
all good.
Yeah, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to criticize you harshly or anything. That I like what you're doing. It's a lot of things that you say that I agree on. I just, like you said, I feel like a lot of us that are in position like yourself kind of stand on the sidelines, and I just want to see the ones that do have the position and to make a difference take it more seriously. I think that's one of the things that's missing in regards to what we need. Gentlemen like yourself are in position to do more, and I just want to put that on your mind and on your heart.
Yeah,
maybe you will marinate and think about.
I've thought about it. No, I've thought about it deeply. And it's not about action should be taken. If you as an individual want to see change in your life, this is what I tell people. Influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. So influence is the most powerful source. Mm-hmm. It is the most powerful source. Even if we look at biblical text, you got God on one shoulder, the serpent on another shoulder, influencing Adam and Eve. They just made the wrong choice. So within that, me having this platform and speaking truth, that's influence. So I am doing something. Now, as far as action is different than speaking, which I 100% agree. And as far as taking action on things, I could say that in the future, it could possibly be a thing where, maybe I'll build the school and not be like Dr. Umar, but actually get it built. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds, right? But I just have to be honest and keep it no fugazi when you ask me the question. Nah, man, I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that on your mind, man.
And I know it's levels to things. I understand that it's levels to things. I understand that there's people that's actually focused on the black community and they have taken necessary actions and put them into place. And I respect those people. I honor those people. And then there are people that speak a whole lot like that they're going to do actions and they do no actions. Those people I don't respect at all. But I don't fit into any of those two categories.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I respect it, man. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Have a blessed one.
You too.
Okay. All right, let's get into another clip. Debate night, man. Anyone that wants to come and join the stream, click the first link in the YouTube description. If you're watching on Instagram right now, come on over to... people in the comments, cool, you doing enough, bro? Hey, man, it's to regards what he said. No, there is a difference. What he said is true. There's a difference from speaking than acting. But in regards to speaking, if we're talking about influence, all influence, whether if you're speaking it, whether if you act, influence itself is the most powerful source. The most powerful force is action, though. You see that? Most powerful force, action. Most powerful source, influence. But yeah, in regards to that, man, in regards to dating and relationships, the things that I've mastered, and giving advice on that and giving a morally good perspective on that, I think that is a good thing. It's a positive thing. You can't, the amount of DMs and messages that I get on a daily basis from men saying that I saved their lives, from women thanking me like, yo, my boyfriend watches your podcast and he changed as a man. I witnessed him. Like, I'm humble enough to not really show that, but to pull it up, like why flaunt it and, show that and stuff. But, we actually should do it more in a manosphere space and I guess red pill space, show how we actually change people's lives. Like the DMs that I get from women and men, like, yo, the noose was around my neck. It was about that time, but I came across one of your clips and then I watched more of your content and it just changed my perspective about life in general. So with that being said, I'm helping out people, but not just the black community, all communities, because before a community starts, before a nation starts, a relationship starts. And that's what I gave y'all for 2 years, dating and relationship content. 2 years, dating and relationship content. So, yeah, man. All right, let's get into some more clips real quick, and let's see what we got here. Once again, anyone that wants to join the stream, come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube, and it's the first link in the YouTube description or the link that's pinned in the YouTube comments. If you're on Instagram or in Facebook, I'll be going live for about, maybe another 15 more minutes, and then I'll go ahead and close down the stream. And we'll only be live on YouTube. Okay. Here we go. Then also, we're going to get into what the thumbnail says on YouTube. We're going to react to Candace Owens' interview with Theo Von. I mean, something that y'all want me to get into. I've read the thumbnail of it. It seems like they're speaking about the, Israel and stuff like that. So we'll get, her perspective on that and see what that interview is about. Then we got the Breakfast Club stuff and, all that drama happening with Jess Hilarious. I'll give you my perspective on that too. But while we're doing that, man, I'm going to be bringing people in and out for debates. If you disagree with any of the things that I say or any of the clips that you've watched of me, you're like, cool, yeah, I don't, you're speaking nonsense. Click that link, man. This is your time. This is your time to confront me. Okay, here we go. So father rejects apology after being falsely accused of molesting his own daughter. Dang, okay, well, let's see what this is about.
Truth. Mr. Monzel, in your lie detector test, you were asked, did you have any sexual contact with any of your 3 daughters? You said no. And the lie detector said there was no deception.
Yes, thank God.
How does that feel for you? And that your daughters know it?
Well, I felt they always did know it.
You felt they always did know it? Mm-hmm. And didn't speak it because?
They didn't know no better. They wasn't told no different.
Miss Yvonne took a lie detector test and said, did you make up or exaggerate any stories with the intention to harm Monzel? She responded no, and the answer was deceptive. Then he asked you, did you say something to the effect of, I'm going to make sure you're never happy again? She responded no, and the answer was deceptive. So Miss Yvonne has acknowledged that her story about you touching your children in a sexual way was not true. So Miss Yvonne, is anything that you...
Hey, chat, this crazy. Shorty done. Yo, this is crazy. Shorty done lied on him to his daughters. Wow.
wanted to say to Mr. Monsell?
Why didn't you fight for him harder if you knew you didn't do it?
And what is it?
Wow, you see that, chat? Zero accountability. She said, yeah, she's confirming, like, yeah, I lied. I told our daughters that you've abused them when they were younger. I lied to them, and I also lied to you. I painted this false picture and put these false accusations out there into their head to manipulate them, to control you and them. But why didn't you fight harder? That was her first words. This is crazy, chat. Why didn't you fight harder? Well, wait, crazy? Fight harder? And you were lying. How can you really fight hard against lies? It's like, okay, she's lying. You're just making up false accusations. This is what women do. Not all, but they do it, which is crazy. Very, very crazy. And these stories, I never hear these stories from the men. It's not like men lying to their children like, oh, your mother was this and your mother was that, and that's why I couldn't see you. Nah, niggas be being honest. Listen, I wanted to see you, little homie, but bruh, she would use you against me so that I wouldn't see you. You get what I'm saying? It's like women just be lying, bro. And the first comment up here. Can y'all see this comment over here? Oh man, let me make this bigger real quick. Look at this comment. Yes, he should forgive her. Oh, you stupid no for good. Whoever comment that dummy. All right, let's continue to play it.
That he could have said that would have made you not believe the lie you were telling. Miss Yvonne, you told the lie. It was a lie, and you told it. And you gotta own it.
I'm sorry. I need you to say that you did not rape your girls. I need to hear it come out your mouth the way I've always heard it, Ma.
I apologize for accusing you of raping them. Please forgive me.
You don't have to forgive her. You don't have to.
And also, this is what happens when you could tell that the wife led the relationship. He's so docile and like chill. Like you can tell she led the relationship because they were still in a relationship while she was still, making these false accusations and lying on him. So just the fact that he stayed in that relationship with her, man, it's telling, man. It is very telling. I'm not 100% sure if he stayed, but this seems like they stayed. If anyone ever watched this episode before, let me know.
I cannot accept your apology because it's not sincere. Deep down, I know that you didn't believe that. You knew I had no sexual desires for my children. For 25 years, this thing has...
Dang, Shorty lied for 25 years? Hey, yo. Oh, man, bro. Listen, man, the female nature on display here is crazy. Now, this is the far radical ends of female nature, how they would just make up false accusations to control, to control things. Because if you think about it, if we dive a little deep into the psychology aspect of it, women aren't stronger than men. She knows that she can't physically defeat him. So they do other ways and use other tactics to defeat the man via emotional manipulation, via lies, and these tactics of it's how can I say it? It's like, bro, they're evil. Put it like that. It's just evil. It's just evilness. It's evilness. Evilness on full display. So since they can't defeat the man physically, they'll defeat him mentally by making up lies and using their emotions to manipulate the man and the children and the family as well. Crazy, man. Crazy. This is what you call abuse. She actually mentally abused everyone in the entire family. Now, women always like to say, well, he mentally abused me. I don't know dudes mentally abusing chicks. Like, homies ain't really out there. Most men ain't even that socially aware and calibrated to mentally abuse a woman. Women is just, you better at the lip, you better at the mouth generally than men are. You can speak better, even from a young age. You're more social than a man. You can, run laps around him as far as being, as far as your arguments is concerned. Women are much better at arguing than men, generally. And especially in relationships, most men don't even stand a chance when it comes to an argument with a woman. But the thing is, only betas argue with women. Masculine men do not argue with women at all. But anyways, let's continue on and see what else was said.
Broken me.
And tell the truth.
Oh, he's broken me. Yeah, man, this is a feminine man. This is why she ran laps around him. This is why she was able. See, this is the thing. If you allow a woman to lead the relationship, now she's a person that she's just an evil person with bad intentions. But you get an evil person with bad intentions to lead the relationship, you'll see the downfall of the family like this. Vice versa, if you see a man with not the best intentions, and maybe even, let's say the man is evil as well, it'll be much different. It'll be different. Both male and female, evil is evil, don't discriminate. That's what I'm saying. But the media only shows the light on the man being evil. Like, oh, he physically abused and, domestic violence cases and stuff like that. As far as physical abuse, usually women, the stats show that women actually initiate most of the physical encounters. Men just end them because they're stronger. Oh, you picked a fight with me, chick? Ah! And I'm not promoting, domestic violence or physical abuse on anyone, but that's just the facts of the matter. Dudes, don't be out here hitting chicks, man. But yeah, man, I hope whoever sent this clip, this was a good clip, because it definitely shined a light on the evil sides of female nature. It definitely did. Oh yeah, and as I was saying that media shines a light on the man's evil natures and stuff like that, but it don't really shine a light on the female, how evil and conniving that the woman can be. So this was a good clip that displayed that perfectly. All right, let's see who we got in here to debate. We got some more people in here. Let's see. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name and where you're from.
Yeah, my name is Chusta. I'm calling from Rialto, California.
Rialto, California. Cool. What'd you hear to debate about, man?
So, I think I was watching you last debate night, and you got into it with a few different guys, and I guess your position was you don't think people can be born gay.
Yeah, that's my position. I don't think I know that no human being is born thinking about sex and wanting sex. No human being, no baby is born with that on its mind. But okay, it seems like you do think that humans can be born gay. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I do believe so.
All right. And why do you believe this?
So I guess we'll preface it with this. You just stated that no human is born wanting sex. So then with that same logic, we could say humans aren't born heterosexual by that same logic then, correct?
What I'm saying is no human being is born thinking. Are babies thinking about sex?
No, they're not. But
Yeah.
babies are born heterosexual, correct?
No, I don't think that babies are born heterosexual. Heterosexual is having a proclivity to have an attraction towards the opposite gender. What I do think is humans are born with their biology, and their biology has these natural embedded propensities in them. A man has testosterone, 17 times more testosterone than a woman. A man has testicles. A man can get 100 women pregnant in a month if he wanted to. But a woman can only bring one child full term per year. So with that being said, if we're looking at things, men, we have a propensity to be attracted to women because we want to procreate, and women have a propensity to be attracted to men because they want to procreate as well. So I say all of that to say we have natural propensities to want to procreate. That doesn't mean in regards to our sexual attractions that we're born, someone is being born literally attracted to a male or female. I think that it's a choice, and based off of what you experience in your life, right? You have 5 senses that absorbs information: seeing, touching, tasting, hearing, and smelling. These things absorb information. And since things are being absorbed, it's creating influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. So you're being influenced, which is creating your experience and how you view the world. So I think that based off of all of that, then someone would have the mindset to be attracted to either a man or a woman.
Okay, so now let's go off of this right here, right?
Sure.
You're right. I'll concede to the point that I guess you can say nobody is born heterosexual or homosexual. You have to perform said action to be said as such, right?
Well, not just perform. We're speaking about the attraction.
Okay.
So we can say yes as the performing. Yes, you actually have to perform it for us to know if you're heterosexual or homosexual. So but as far as what you're attracted to in your head, you don't have to perform it, but you can just be attracted to, the same sex.
Okay, so let's go off of this now. And let's say, because now we're going to almost get into the nature versus nurture argument. So we can say that in naturality,
exactly.
I would have a proclivity as a man to be attracted to women because, yes, I want to procreate. That the hourglass shape is what gets me aroused because deep bedded inside of me on some innate level, I want to procreate. Well, let's say, for instance, in the nature versus nurture, what if there's somebody who doesn't have the propensity or want to procreate? That's not what they biologically want to do. So let's just say they have a defect, because we could say all humans are born with 2 hands. We could say all humans are supposed to be born a certain way. But now what if we say that because of whatever, genetics or whatever, you have a mutation, and for whatever reason, you don't have a inclivity or a preclivity to want to actually procreate? What if that is an actual innate desire or a non-innate desire?
If that's the case, then a lot of these, gay people, they adopt children. Why do they adopt children then if they don't have it in them to want to procreate? Obviously, they just have their sexual desires supersedes. Let me finish here. Their sexual desires supersedes their want to, procreate, which then they'll indulge in sexual deviant acts but then still want to adopt a child because they want to be a father or a mother. So I say that to say they actually suppress their biological desires. So that's if we think about it and say that if you just agree that human beings aren't born thinking about sex, they're, you would agree that they have to go through certain experiences to be attracted to X or Y, right? You agree to that, right?
No.
Okay, so okay, so you're pretty much saying that they don't have to go through any experiences at all. It's actually from a biological way that they are just naturally born attracted to a man or naturally born attracted to a woman.
Correct. Okay, so let me ask you this then. As a heterosexual man, did you have to go through experiences that made you attracted to women, or did at one particular time women just started looking attractive to you?
Are you heterosexual or are you gay?
Okay, so look, just for the record, I'm heterosexual. I'm happily married to a real woman. I don't know what we can say on Facebook or not, but no, look, I just wanted to debate it.
Two X chromosomes?
A lot of people get up here and
she got two X chromosomes?
No. A real woman. Yeah.
A real woman, but meaning she has two X chromosomes. She's a female.
A real biological
double
woman.
X. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man.
But I just wanted to be on a position of this because I know a lot of guys get up here with you. They don't want to debate, or you make them really change their position very quickly. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go from the nature versus nurture perspective, because here's the thing. Like you're right. As a baby,
let's take it there.
Most 5-year-olds think girls are icky, but most men, we get to a point we don't got to go through anything, and we just start looking at girls, the voluptuousness, the breasts, the hips, and now we have a inclination to be attracted, because after puberty, what goes through our mind is procreation. So now that is attracting to us. We didn't have to go through anything.
So would you say that there's a lot of things that people are attracted to, but they choose not to act on it?
True. Yeah, I'll go for that.
Okay. So if we can both agree that there's a lot of things that people are attracted to, but they choose not to act on it, that would conclude that someone can be attracted to the same sex, but choose not to act on it, which from our true definition of all of this and our true perspective, and even if they die and we dig their body up, no one would know that they chose not to act on something that they're attracted to, which would conclude that they are a heterosexual, because we don't know people's thoughts. We only know their actions. Yeah.
I mean, from that same logic, if we're just digging up skeletons, right? I mean, only thing we're gonna know is that this person was a man or woman. I mean, we can tell if you've been through some trauma, different things of that nature, but we won't know if this person was heterosexual or homosexual just based on their skeleton.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I'm saying here is that we can look at it two ways. We can argue the attraction factor, or we can argue the action factor. The actions, I don't think you stand a chance with that debate. So, I mean, we could tackle it if you want. I think you stand more of a chance if you want to go the attraction route. So let's go the attraction route. And I know that you said you wanted to speak about the nurture versus nature. So my question for you is, how can someone be nurtured to... nurture versus nature. You are saying that the nature supersedes the nurture. I'm saying that everything is just all nurtured into play. Nurtured to having this attraction, nurtured into taking this action. You're saying that it's nature that creates the attraction, and it's nature that creates the action. That's what you're saying, right?
Well, that's almost a fair still, man, but not exactly, right? So
okay.
I am arguing the nurture fact of it. I am arguing the nature fact versus the nurture. But however, what I am saying is this, that when we're considering the nurture. It doesn't have to be said actions, because we're just talking about people being born with a propensity or a proclivity to, right, or an attraction to.
If we're speaking about attraction, that's what we're speaking about.
That's what we're speaking about. So now we're going to look at it as in, I guess, the two instances of, you have one heterosexual boy who basically, once he goes through puberty, he now finds women attractive or girls attractive. And then on the other side, you have the homosexual boy, I guess, once he goes through puberty, he doesn't find girls attractive. So are you saying in the same instance, somebody could be nurtured into heterosexuality? Because if you're saying from your argument, the way you're still manning my argument, I could just reverse it and then say that one person could be nurtured into heterosexuality.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I think that in certain cases where someone so for the attraction, yeah, they can be nurtured to be attracted more to the same sex. We see that via prisons. Now, we see that definitely via prisons. You take away women from their life and you lock them in a cage for 20 years, or especially at a young age, if they're doing 20 years or something like a long-term sentences, and all they got is, men in there, that could be something that's nurtured. You could also take the nurture factor as far as molestation or abuse at a young age, where someone was abused sexually, and then that's being nurtured into having a liking for. Normally when people get abused, they have this liking for the abuser, this weird thing, psychology thing about it. So they take on these,
or something like that.
Yeah, they take on the behaviors of the abuser. So with that being said, no, I'm totally fine with that, and I stand on it that, yeah, people can definitely be nurtured to go down a path of being straight or gay. Young versus an adult. Of course, it'll be much harder to get someone to flip sides if they're an adult. But if they're younger and not mature, then yeah, it's a higher probability for them to be nurtured to go down one path or another. Okay. So question for you though, because I need some understanding. You're on the nature side, man. It's a very, very hard, we're going into the nature versus nurture, but here's the thing where it's going to be hard for you to get out of, and I just want to hear your answer to it. So if you think that it's in their nature to be attracted to the same sex, and it's in their nature to act on their attraction, then you would have to concede and say there's a lot of things that are in the human nature, right? As far as attraction, these proclivities and these propensities and these actions, that is, you can't fight it. Meaning that it's there. It doesn't change. You get what I'm saying? It's unchangeable. So if it's nature that dictates someone's attractions and someone's behavior, people that are serial killers, we would have to say that can be in his nature. So why should they be in prison instead of like a mental institution? Or why shouldn't we just ship these niggas off to a planet that, somewhere where Elon Musk is trying to fly niggas to? Why should we put all of these consequences on people and judge these people if they were actually born away? You get what I'm saying? So me and you being black, that it's not a behavior. You can't change this. It's not a propensity. It's not a proclivity. We are black. You can't change us being black. But for your argument of someone being gay and having the same sex attraction, well, if that is that way and it's unchangeable, then why we can't hold people accountable? We can't hold people accountable for their actions. And if you are saying that being gay is the nature, then my question for you is, what about a killer? What about pedophiles? They have this natural attraction for younger people. And should those pedophiles, be judged and should we put consequences on them for their behaviors following their actions? Their behaviors following their attractions.
Okay.
So speak about that a little bit for me.
Okay. So there's a lot to unpack. So I'll go backwards. So when it comes to the PDF files, of course, well, here's the thing with that, right? Their actions, according to modern society, or to you and I, would be deemed atrocious, and we have deemed those things persona non grata and are not acceptable in modern day society. But I mean, if we look at history, age of consent has changed throughout the whole thing of history. So that's a whole different topic. So I think what becomes a social standard and or a social norm, a cultural standard and or social norm, is how society will adopt punishments, reprimandations, or if there's any associated to said behaviors. Here I am in California. We have, marijuana's, relevant. So there's no laws regarding that, or, the legalities, pertaining somewhere else. Let's take Texas or New York. Firearms, we can look at the different things regarding laws. So that's how people will regard different things. But now when we're talking about people's behaviors, you made one error in your judgment. You said that just because I have an attraction that I'm going to act on it. Let's just say, for instance, I could like women with really large breasts. That doesn't mean I necessarily have to talk to women with really large breasts, and maybe I'm just more comfortable with women with small breasts, even though I'm actually attracted to women with large breasts. Doesn't mean I have to act on my attraction. But going back to the actual basis of the argument, when we're talking about the nature versus nurture, are you born that way? So again, at a certain age, as a young boy, I'm going to naturally start just thinking women are beautiful or are attractive because, again, I have testosterone. I'm going to want to spread my seed. So if we start talking about mutations, genetics, the food that they're giving us, I don't know if you're familiar. I don't know what I really can and can't say on YouTube. So I don't know if you're familiar with atrazine, what it did to the frogs, different things of that, what they're doing. So
yeah,
we can start talking about, are they manipulating, the human genome to be this way? Or, are we actually naturally this way? Or does it actually occur before pubescence? That's where I'm at with it. Does it? So we're talking about a lot of cause and effects. We brought in trauma, different things of that nature, but we're alleviate all of those. We're just talking about just at 5-6 years old, prepubescence, what do you have the propensity or the proclivities to probably be attracted to as you go through puberty? And what's going to determine and or dictate that? Is it genes? Because from your logic, then you're almost saying that people are made into heterosexual. And by that same logic,
we've went there. People aren't made into that. That's not what that's not what I'm saying here. So I'll break it down. And you didn't really answer my question, but I guess I'll ask it more direct because my question was very broad. It was a few things that I threw at you. So nothing to you.
Last thing you mentioned about those guys and how we punish them.
Yeah, nothing to you. It's just how I prefaced the question. I wasn't as direct. It kind of left it open-ended and threw a lot of things at you. So all good, Ben. I think you did a good job as far as getting to a few points that I said. But I'll get to a few points of what you said, and then I'll pose just a regular direct question to you so we can go back and forth and spar a little bit more instead of, doing the monologues, which is fine. It's cool. The debate is just starting anyway. So you said age of consent in regards to, you said, cool, pretty much like the whole age of consent thing. If you're saying that as far as the P files, if we're looking at other countries and other societies back in the day, there was many different ages of consent. The age of consent when we're speaking about back in the day, the thing is you have to be able to differentiate things, and the age of consent was when it came to marriage, like not just pleasure. Like you don't see a grown man pleasuring themselves, and it was fine pleasuring themselves with a 2-year-old child. No, you don't see that at all. That would be haram in every culture. Every culture, they wouldn't allow that. That wouldn't be legal from now all the way back to since the beginning of time. That no one would want that. Now, are there some weird cultures where they do some very sexual deviant things that we could find? Yeah, probably there is, but those cultures aren't around. So the other thing is when you spoke about the attraction, so you said that, well, what about someone that I could be attracted to big breasts, but I don't actually act on that. So you said that you can have an attraction that you don't act on. That's much different than having an attraction for an entire sex, right? So you can be attracted to an entire sex, like a man is attracted to women, but within him being attracted to women, he has all of these different other preferences. Right. So he has preferences as far as, oh, I like this, I like that. But sometimes men can't really attract, meaning garner the attention from the woman that they want. You get what I'm saying? So they'll kind of take what they can get. So that's a different argument, which doesn't defeat my argument when it comes to the attraction of things. So question for you real quick. I want to kind of get a direct answer then. In regards, you believe that people are not born you believe that people are born gay. With that being said, since people are born with an attraction and with an action, right? We got to say an attraction and an action because you can't really separate the two because we can't confirm it. You get what I'm saying? Now we can say that that's a different side of the argument. Like I said, if you want to go down that path, that'd be an easy win for me. But I guess let's stick it here for right now. Let's argue this. And if you want to take it to the action part, we can. But as far as the attraction part, pedophiles, let's go back to that. People that are attracted to children, right?
Okay.
That's immoral in your worldview, correct?
Correct.
People that are attracted to the same sex, is that immoral in your worldview?
Yes.
Okay, so that is immoral in your worldview.
Yes.
So, and why is it immoral in your worldview? Like, if it is immoral, and then the question is, let's make it direct. If it is immoral for them to have this attraction, but you think that they're born with this attraction, how can it be immoral? Explain that.
Very, very simply. So,
sure.
Some people, again, now we're going to almost get biblically here, and I don't want to go biblically here.
Yeah, we don't got to get biblically. You could just give me we could speak, have a ethical conversation. It's fine. You don't got to get biblical.
So very, very simply, just because I have a propensity or a proclivity to probably do something or more than likely do something doesn't mean that one cannot judge one on who he is. So let's just say, for instance, a lion is going to attack a gazelle. That's what he does to survive. But even though he's attacking the gazelle to stay alive, I'm still going to say he's a killer. He's going to maul you to death. He's going to do what a lion does. I understand.
Would you say that a lion's morals of attacking a gazelle is immoral?
No, so I'm saying that he's going to have the propensity. So just because I deem it immoral, that doesn't mean that you are not born the way you are and you're going to do what you're going to do.
Yeah, but your example of the lion doesn't make sense. If you're going to have an example, the example needs to be something that you deem immoral, not something that you don't deem immoral. Like, give me an example of something that you deem.
It was still analogous to one's behavior, but I understand what you're saying. So if you wanted me to give you a moral behavior, then for instance, I could say that I believe it's reprehensible for people who indulge in alcoholic beverages or certain behaviors of that nature. Just because I believe it's immoral, and that doesn't mean that if you do it, because that's your behavior, let's say you come from a family of drunks and that's just who the people are in your family, so you have a propensity or proclivity to exhibit said behaviors.
But do you think that they were born that way? That would be my argument. My argument would be that, someone could be nurtured maybe into, be influenced, nurtured, to drink alcohol and stuff like that because they're susceptible to outside influences. That would be for my argument. That's my argument. Your argument is they're born that way. So the question is, you can be morally, you can think that it's morally wrong for someone to indulge in alcohol, but the person that is alcoholic, that alcoholic wasn't born an alcoholic. So what I need from you is, if you're going to give an analogy or have an example, I need it to make logical sense with your argument. Like, said this person is born this way. It's immoral. Their actions that they do is immoral, and their behaviors is immoral. So
yeah,
I can make an argument.
Trying to know. Wait, hold
okay,
on.
Go ahead.
Both points were actually analogous. I'll concede
okay,
to the
tell me
point.
tell me where though. Maybe I'm not getting it.
I'll concede the lion point wasn't analogous because it didn't have the moral connotation. So I'll give you that.
Okay.
So now when we're using the alcohol analogy, what I'm saying, I guess maybe you can concede to the point that some children are born addicted to alcohol, just like they're born addicted to cocaine and various other drugs. Some people are born addicted to drugs. Now, we could argue outside influence because of what their mothers were doing and putting in their body. So we could maybe go down to maybe that was the outside influence. However, that is now a part of their genetic makeup.
Well, that's an easy defeat because I actually have family members that was actually born. We can say that their parents did a whole lot of alcohol and they were like a crack baby or an alcohol baby. Do you know that's a process where they just wean them off by giving the baby certain medications so they actually don't, the baby won't actually have the craving itself for the taste of alcohol. It would be a biological void because they have, they're have like alcoholism, let's say. So with that being said, it's like they don't actually have the same craving. They don't have the same craving that an alcoholic would have. You get what I'm saying? They don't have that same craving. And then also they're weaned off at a point where they're like, just like usually it's before a year old. You get what I'm saying? You can Google all of this stuff too. So, I mean, with that being said, that doesn't hold any weight to actually being born. Like, can you be weaned off? You believe that someone is born gay. Can they be weaned off being born gay then? Yes or no? Because that would concede to my argument that it's nurture.
So, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to say yes. But that doesn't mean, just like you said, I was born addicted to alcohol and they weaned the child off. That doesn't mean that I don't have a propensity to be born a certain way or be attracted to certain things. And almost by your same logic, people are not born heterosexual, correct?
So real quick though, before I answer that question, no, real quick, because you said something there. Well, you said, are people born heterosexual? I just said that no one is born with a thinking about sex. No human being is born thinking about sex. It's just that's not the case. A baby isn't born. Listen, real quick. A baby isn't born. The alcoholic baby isn't born thinking about alcohol. So it's just not true. Wait, what did you say? You got to charge your phone?
I said my phone might die, but I'm gonna just rock until it die. But I'll come back if it do. But let's just keep going, rapid fire.
Okay, yeah, let's do rapid fire then. All right, so let's get down to the
question though. But I was just saying, what's your question, and we can just, you know what I mean? No, because I like it. I see.
Okay, cool. So I mean, here's the point that I'm trying to make to you. So you believe that people are born gay. People are born with this sexual attraction, which normally this sexual attraction, it leads to them acting on it. Like I would say, is there really we really don't know, but in most cases from what we can tell, it's as a heterosexual man that's attracted to a woman, we know that it's very, very hard not to act on what we're attracted to, right? So in regards to the person that's born gay, it's going to be very, very hard for them not to act on what they're attracted to. So normally, if you're born with this attraction, you're normally acting on what you are attracted to. But let's go back to what we were speaking about. You said that, and I really never got a full answer to the question. So you believe that it's morally wrong to be gay, but you also believe that it's people are born gay. So do you believe that, with that being said, then can you really judge the person if they're born with these immoralities? Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah. So I think the false equivalency here is that because you're saying by default, since it's their innate nature, that they're absolved of all responsibilities or all ramifications or judgments for it. And that's not the position that I have. I can
okay, fine. Cool. You could say what? Say that again.
No, okay, you get it. I was gonna say it's still abhorrent to me, but just because it is, and you were born that way, I'm still gonna look at that as such. Just because you were born that way, I'm still gonna say that it is still appalling.
Still appalling. And do you think that you believe in God, though, right? We don't have the religious debate, but we can get into epistemology of maybe where your knowledge and stuff comes from. You believe in God?
Yeah.
Okay, if you believe in God, do you believe that we know that due to the fall of man, people are born in sin with a sinful nature. But when it comes to this sinful nature of, like, biblically they say it's an abomination, it's much different. Do you think that people are actually born gay? And then I have a statistical fact that I want to bring up to you too. So do you think that God would actually create someone to be gay? Like, why create someone to actually be born with the same sex attraction where you cannot, they don't even want to procreate?
So this is where, okay, my bad. It almost seemed like you went mute on me for a minute.
No, I'm fine. Is your phone? What's your battery on?
Yeah, I'm using this iPhone and it's super low. But look, I'm gonna go real quick. So
you chopping you chopping up right. You chopping up right now, man. Yeah, you want to go ahead and charge your phone and come back in? We'll finish it. Yeah, his phone must have just died right then there. Homie got choppy. All right, chat. We do it live, man. Good discussion. Homie believes that people are born thinking about sex. He has a lot of little contradictions that, I called him in, but I can't wait to bring him back up so we can finish the discussion. I didn't go hard on him at all. When he comes back in, we'll get very deep on some things. But, he brung up the whole, people being born, babies that from their parents, they're alcoholics or the parents was on crack. So then now the baby is born a crack addict or born. That's much different than thinking. See, he tried to make like an equivalent example to things. Well, he lacked the ability of making an equivalent analogy to things. So therefore, he never really answered a lot of my questions with his lack of the ability to give like an equivalent analogy or an example to them being born some way and also having thinking away. Because if you're born away, you're thinking away. Attraction is a thought. You're thinking that. Babies that are born alcoholics aren't thinking about alcohol. It's just a fact. They don't even know what the freak alcohol is. So we have to concede that, whoa, that's a bad analogy there, because people that are, if you believe that they're born gay, are they not born thinking about sex? He never really answers that question either, that, are people actually born thinking about sex? Yeah, actually, he never answered my first question. So when he comes back in, we're going to get him on that so he can answer my first question. And then I think we can, take the rest from there. All right, cool, chat. We got, let me look at the super chats real quick. If we got any super chats. Support the podcast, man. We live, No Fugazi podcast. All right, shout out to... Okay, Fatty said, you losing the debate with your mic right now. What's wrong with my mic? Or was he speaking about in the beginning of the podcast? Let's check.
Most men, we get to a point we is attracted to, but they choose not to act on it. True. Yeah, I'll go for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Fatty said, okay, that was in the beginning, Fatty. I appreciate the support, man. You sent in $2. I'm not sure what currency that is, but then we got Juan Martinez. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to Juan. He gifted 5 No Fugazi memberships. Shout out to Juan. Juan has been always supporting. Every time I go live, Juan gifts memberships. Every time. He doesn't miss a time that I go live for him to donate to the podcast and gift the live audience memberships. And to the live audience, if you're gifted a membership, enjoy the perks. DM us on via Instagram. Let us know that you're a member. And if you have any ideas for the debate night or for any reactions you want me to do and stuff like that, communicate with me and the squad, and we'll take your ideas. If they're good ideas, we'll take them into consideration and put them into the podcast. And also, don't forget to renew your membership when it's time to renew that. So shout out to Juan Martinez for coming in clutch, being a big supporter of the podcast. So shout out to you, man. I do appreciate it. All right. Let's see here. Let's bring up this next caller. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast.
Oh, man.
State your name and where you from.
Hey, my name is Marcos. I'm from Binghamton, New York. I don't know if you guys can hear me, so just let me know if you guys can hear me.
I could hear you good, yeah.
All right, sounds good, man. Hey, I just want to say thank you for having me tonight, man. I really didn't think that I was going to be able to get through, so this means a lot, man, Mr. Cooley. All right, so a couple things that I just want to go over and stuff like that, just based off of your last conversation. I just want to, bless that brother, and I hope that he finds his way and stuff like that, but the first question is like, what got them that way? Like he said that originally, people are born, um, gay or whatever. I feel like what got you that way? Because, as a kid and stuff like that, you're not really thinking about sex, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the question that he couldn't answer. Well, are people born thinking about sex?
So
he avoided that, which is fine because I gave him some grace there in the beginning because he was respectful. He had the decorum that I appreciated as far as the way he spoke and stuff, and he was able to articulate himself. So I'm like, I don't always. Sometimes I hold people down right away to the things that they say, but other times I may give some grace depending. But yeah, man, he never actually answered that question, and you brung up that point instantly because it's no one's born thinking about sex, man. So
right,
what you're claiming doesn't hold any weight.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I think that honestly, it could come from like either one or two things. I think possibly, hey, you know what? People might get raped. You know what I'm saying? And that
for
also,
YouTube, let's say put a G in front of that. Say grape for me.
Rapes,
but you're fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. So that could lead me to think that maybe this guy has some type of internal things that are going on that you know what I mean, he never dealt with, and it's starting to seep through as he gets older. You know what I'm saying? The other thing too is a lot of women, right? I don't know. I'm 33 years old, so I'm pretty sure you heard that song. I kissed a girl and I liked it. I remember when that first song, came out. So I think with females, right? I have nothing but sisters, really. So I think that with having a lot more females and stuff like that, and making that so normal, right? I think that weak men that follow those traditions or try to be, with the females and stuff like that, think that it might be okay to maybe possibly go down that road, trying to find whatever love or attention that they're seeking. Because, let's be honest, men, we don't really seek validation. We really don't. But women, and I'm not trying to make this a woman man thing, but a lot of women, they have girlfriends that call them every single day. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. So I get what you're saying. You're essentially saying that, you understand a female, taking action and being attracted to a woman because they're more feminine, they're more susceptible to outside influences. They're likely to, be attracted and then also take action on what they're attracted to in regards to being gay, being a lesbian. But when it comes to men, you're pretty much saying that the men that do take on those same sexual attractions and actions, they've pretty much adopted the females way of thinking and behaviors.
Correct.
Makes sense. Yeah, no, I say that all the time. But listen, he just came back in. I'll bring you on up in a second, but he just came back in.
Okay.
I want to bring him on up.
Yeah,
I think it looks
go
like he got a charger here. But I appreciate the support, man. I do.
No doubt.
All right, I just seen him come in backstage. Let's see. Okay, he just went away. All right, well, he's going now. He was backstage for a moment. I guess he's got to charge his phone a little bit more. All right, so we got Anthony Wilson, we got Pedro, we got Miguel Peterson, we got Sid Cap in the building, all backstage. I'll get you guys up accordingly. I do want to get to the Candace Owens clip as well, and I also want to get to the Breakfast Club reaction. I'm going to give y'all those reactions there, but it is debate night, so I guess let's get someone else in while we are waiting for that gentleman to come back in and have the debate on if people are born gay. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name. Where you from?
Anthony Wilson. I just want to ask you a question, man.
This guy.
Because
What's up,
I be
man?
mad at you sometimes. I be like, why is he taking too long to, what are your words? Really, to kill this dude.
Obliterate. Well, sometimes you got to give grace, man. Sometimes you.
No.
I know y'all want to see the attack. Oh, cool. He killed, murder. But the thing is, he came back in. I'm going to bring him up. And so there's multiple different tactics and ways to debate people, because instead of just attacking, maybe I want to sometimes you maybe want to understand someone's full worldview and break them down slowly, or don't even give the grace to fully understand their worldview and, you know, how they're thinking, and just fully defeat their arguments one by one. But as you've seen, as the questions would come up, and as he would speak and try to answer the questions by using analogies and certain different examples, they weren't they weren't mapping on to the question properly. But it's all good, man. Yo, he actually just came back in, so I'm gonna bring him up now so we can go ahead and finish this debate. And then we got Light, we got Pedro, and we got Miguel. I'll go ahead and bring you on up. And we got Sid Cap too. I'll spend about 10 more minutes debating this guy, and then I'll bring him on up. Pedro said, I want to ask him if homosexuality is a trauma response. Okay, Pedro. Is it a trauma response? I'll let you go real quick, Anthony. Have a blessed one, man. I mean, he'll probably concede to that based off of the other things that he said, that, yeah, it can be a trauma response. For sure. I actually can see how it can be a trauma response as well. Is it overall, like, is it always a trauma response? I wouldn't concede to it always being a trauma response, but most of the times I would say yes, it usually is. But good question there, Pedro. Let me go ahead and bring him back on up. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast, man. Welcome back.
All right. Hey, am I glitchy? Because I'm in a area on my hand.
Dang, your audio is real bad. Audio is bad, but you're not glitching. But audio is trash. I can barely hear you.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm body.
Okay. All right. He's trying to get that fixed up. Okay. While he's getting that fixed up, Pedro, stay in here, man. You good? Let me go ahead and bring up someone else though real quick. Welcome to No Fugazi Podcast. What you eating? Noodles and noodles?
Yeah, I'm eating noodles, but I just got off work.
Yeah, you eating noodles and noodles, nigga. I don't want niggas to see I'm eating the poor man's meal. Noodles and noodles.
I just got home. I just got home. It's just me.
Listen, dog, sometimes, I don't need oodles and noodles no more. And why do black people call them oodles and noodles? Nigga, they call it ramen noodles.
I don't call them that. This is high quality noodles. This ain't even ramen.
That ain't even ramen?
No,
all right, man. Ramen. Welcome to No Fugazi Podcast. State your name and where you from.
All right, I'm Light. I'm from Atlanta. Well, I'm not from Atlanta. I live in Atlanta. Yeah, I love the platform. Love everything.
Appreciate it, man. So tonight's debate night. Are you here to debate or give commentary on
absolutely.
something?
No, absolutely.
Okay, you want to debate? What's up?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I agree like almost everything you say. But I do believe that gay people. I think majority of homosexuals are born that way.
Okay, so you think that? Oh, all right. So you're on the side with the gentleman that came up before that people are the majority are born gay. So do you? So you believe that there's a nature aspect to it, and there's a nurture aspect to it as well.
Yes. I don't believe a man just wakes up one day and thinks, "Oh, I'm gonna start dating men." I think that's kind of far fetched.
Okay, so you think that people are actually born thinking about sex?
No,
Babies are.
no, nope. I don't. I
Oh,
don't. I don't think that either. I think it's like I don't think anybody's necessarily born thinking about, oh, I want to be with a woman, I want to be with a man. I don't think anybody's born that way. I think,
so then,
yeah.
how can you say that they're not born? So how can you say that someone is born gay if they're not born thinking about sex? Because attractions are thoughts.
So I think it's more of something that's like underlying, and then like in the genes, and then one like over time through influence, kind of like what the guy before me was saying, the Hispanic brother, like over time through influence, like you were saying, nowadays there's a lot more femininity out and out and around. And like men aren't as masculine as they should be. So I think through a lot of those kind of influences, it's more open to where, around that age, maybe 15, 16, when you want to start experimenting with people like that in that type of way, then the thought starts to come up like, wait, maybe I don't really like girls. Maybe I like men, or maybe I don't really like men. I like girls.
So this would prove my argument, but that would defeat your argument. So your argument is people are born gay. With
Yeah.
everything you just said, proves that my argument is right, that people aren't born gay. It's a choice. They're influenced to be gay. So they're nurtured into having these thoughts and then taking action on the behavior.
So I guess I mean I can see that. I think it's just more like a genetic type deal. So um, I don't think you can really compare it to like a kid a kid coming out the womb and being addicted to drugs or being addicted to alcohol. I think that's something a little bit different. I think in this case, it's literally maybe the person doesn't even know it, right? And then they're around certain things and they see certain things, and they're kind of like, well, I've tried this, and maybe I truly don't even like that. So I want this. I want the other side. I want the other hand.
That would still prove my argument of nurture, and that would disprove your argument of nature, them being born that way. You want me to explain?
Yes.
Okay. So essentially what you're saying here, so manipulation happens when you focus on the effects instead of going to the root, the cause of things, right? Mm-hmm. So you and the other gentleman that I had up here, and you believe that people are born gay, you continuously to go to the effects of things rather than focus on the root of things.
So the effect would be them being born.
No, the effects of things would be everything that influenced them. So their experiences, like everything you said, well, I don't think that they have those thoughts yet, but then as they get around people, they experience something, they did this, then they know that, oh, I'm really not attracted to girls, I'm attracted to boys. So this would be the effects of things. The cause of things is born. So if we just focus and we stay at born, no one can defeat the question, are people born thinking about sex? We would have to say no. People are born a clean slate. They're not thinking about sex. Then if we just put things together logically and say, well, attractions are thoughts. Attractions are thoughts. Now, some of these thoughts can be rooted into your biological makeup, right? So your biology tells you a lot of things. Your biology is actually the first influence. I repeat, our biology is actually our first influence. A male has testosterone, less estrogen than a woman, more testosterone than a woman. Women have lower T, but more estrogen. Our chemicals within us, this influence us. our even before we get to where we were born and the family that we were raised in, we're not even getting to that yet. We're just speaking about the biology of a man and the biology of a woman. The biology itself is an influence to procreate because you have these natural tendencies and proclivities that can influence your thinking. You get it? Okay. They influence your thinking. So now let's think about it. If we're just speaking about a man's biology, the man's biology it literally influences him to be attracted to wide hips, voluptuous breasts, and a woman because your biology is influencing you to procreate. Due to the fact that a same-sex person, same-sex attraction person, a man that's attracted to a man, he's actually going against his biology, which would conclude that he's actually so mentally strong that he can go against his biology and be attracted to something that his biology is telling him not to be attracted to.
No, that's deep.
This
so
is why
it almost like an animal, like let's take a snake for example, right? A snake eating an apple. That's going completely out of its nature. So a snake could be right there next to an apple, about to starve and die, right? But the
ain't
snake
gonna
won't
eat that apple.
Right, exactly. The snake ain't gonna eat it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so born. Okay, you're right. Then born. No, they're not born gay. I guess.
You're not born gay. Nah. Because the thing is, and that's what I was going to get to the guy. I allowed him in chat, as you see, I allowed the other guy more grace just because he came in and he was like one of the first real debaters. But I'm allowing less grace. I'm just getting right to the root of things and defeating the argument. So, but I'm glad that you're open into it and changing your perspective live on air because it's important to. And one of the things, how old are you, man?
I'm 29.
29, okay. You're a young guy, man. I'm 35. I'm old, man. I'm old. I'll pluck out my grays and my beard. Hey, man, it is what it is. I pluck them out. There ain't no grades, but I pluck them out every now and then. But one of the things that it helped me with thinking is this one phrase, and I forgot where I got it from, but I know I was influenced by it as well. But I also logically thought about it too. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects instead of getting to the root. So anytime you're thinking, just try to think back further and see if this is actually the root and the cause of things. Once you can get to the root and the cause, then that would help you critically think to see if you're not being manipulated by focusing on effects.
Okay.
Because then you'll be able to critically think and get to the same conclusion that I got to. And it'll also help out with debating when you're talking to chicks. Most chicks win arguments, not with me.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Do you believe, or I don't know, do you believe that, okay, they're not born gay.
No.
I agree with you on that. But do you believe that it's in their genes, that they only have to, get a sniff of it, and then they're like, oh, I'm back in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not a gay gene. Scientists has not discovered a gay gene. So scientifically proven that they have not discovered a gay gene. Also, statistics show that since the beginning of, as far as, not the beginning of time, because they can't, calculate back that far, but since the beginning of where they have evidence and was taking notes, the gay population has always been around 1 or 2% of, the population. Yeah. But over time with propaganda, right? Disney, you got Shade Room, Hollywood Unlocked, all of these gay platforms that's owned by all of these gay people, Zeus Network, all of this degenerate gay stuff. Well, this is going to influence the minds of kids that's not mature. Kids are very susceptible and they're much easy to be molded to have, this thinking, to adopt certain thoughts because, they're a child. So,
can I ask you this?
Go ahead. Yeah.
What do you think about in the Roman days, in the Greek days, it was very normal for people to have multiple lovers and sometimes man and woman.
Yeah, just because it's a social norm doesn't mean that it's a biological norm.
Okay.
Yeah, so like a social, I mean, we normalize a lot of things nowadays because of, social constructs, for an example.
Right.
Like, there's many a lot of things are just social constructs, things that we agree upon that is okay or not okay. That doesn't mean that it's a biological norm. So the biological norm of a man is to procreate, which the only way you can procreate is to be attracted to a woman. Gay people go against their biological norm, which it is a choice. If anything, gay people, them niggas got a superpower. Them niggas got man, listen, if you can go against the most the biggest thing that's influencing you, it's like, god dang, like, put it like this: if you gay, you shouldn't be a killer, you shouldn't break a law, you shouldn't do any of these things because you are fully mentally strong to go against your biological makeup. These are coolie facts.
Hey, let me run your coolie fact segment, bro. Just a bunch of shorts of coolie fact today.
It'd be like that. But listen, man, good conversation. I want to get some more people up. Have a blessed one, man.
Yes, you too, brother. You too.
All right. Chat probably going crazy from that. We do it live, chat.
No Fugazee.
We do it live. Fugazee. All right. We got Flavor sends an $8. I appreciate the support. You are a member, so shout out to you. Keep debate night going. We love it. Appreciate that. Yeah, debate night isn't going anywhere, man. Debate night is not going nowhere. All right. Looks like he's back in. So I want to bring him back up. Hopefully his audio is good now and we'll have this discussion. I hope he's seen how I fully defeated the other guy. When I bring him back on, chat, we're just not going to be easy on him. We're going to go full flames. So I hope he's prepared. All right, man, you're back.
All right, I'm back. I got it good this time. I got it good. So the audio and everything is good, Cooley. So,
audio is good. I can hear you good. And I'm sorry, you were just going to say something?
No, I'm gonna say, hey, let's go with it. Hey, I appreciate you giving me some grace. I respect your platform and all that. But don't hold back. It's debate night. I don't take it personal.
Sounds good. Since you are coming on again, let me get your name and where you're from. It's for the new audience.
Yeah, the Chusta, calling from Rialto, California.
Sounds good, man. All right, so we were just, if you've witnessed, I just spoke to another guy that literally believed that people are born gay, and live on air, I changed his mind like that, and he no longer believes that people are born gay. Did you get a chance to hear that discussion? Because if you did, I want to know what you disagree with in that discussion so we can just get right into it.
All right, awesome. I did hear a little bit of it, and in the part where I disagree with is that, so on one breath, you were saying that children aren't born, and I'll say this, children are not born thinking of sex. So let's not straw man my argument. Let's steel man it. I'm not saying children are born thinking about sex, but you did say it's a man's natural nature to be attracted to women and voluptuousness and do those different things. But
the nature... The nature is procreate. That's the nature. So everyone, so let's not confuse it. Let's not go to the effect of it is he's attracted to a woman because the nature is procreate. The nature is procreate. So if the only way he can procreate is via a woman, the only way a woman can procreate is via a man. So the nature is to procreate. After that, in order to satisfy your nature, you must be with the opposite sex. You get it? That's what I mean.
Look, let's not go down the rabbit hole. I'm about to cook you.
Okay, let's go. Let's get it.
Look.
I'm here for all the smoke.
So on one breath, you just said a man is naturally attracted to a woman. Or now, do you want to rephrase that? So he has a natural what to want to procreate? Or is that a natural thing for a man to want to do this?
All human beings, their biology is made to procreate. Their biology is the biggest influence, and it's literally made to procreate. That's what it's made for. It's made to procreate. Anything after the procreation, anything after the, let's say the propensity to procreate would be more than what it is, which would be like an influence. So something else influenced them to want this and procreating. Something influenced them to want that and procreating. You get what I'm saying?
No, I don't follow you because let's
okay. So I'll explain. I'll give an example. I'll give an example. You want an example?
Well, how about I ask you some questions, you ask me some questions, and we just pose our arguments. But go ahead, give me your example first, and then I'll listen to it, and I'll pose my question.
Well, yeah, because I don't think that you're understanding me. So that's why I'm saying I could give you an example of what I mean. So human beings, our biological makeup was made to procreate. Anything after procreation is something that has been influenced. So even when it comes to sex, so the biology is made to procreate, but in order for you to honor what your biology was made for, you have to be attracted to the opposite sex. Now, say if you are attracted to the opposite sex, but say if you like doggy, well, that's an extra. Say if you want voluptuous breast or you want wide hips, well, that's extra as well. You get what I'm saying? But even with those extra things, our biology, I mean, we just naturally know that, and it's scientifically, it's not even a no, but it's scientifically proven that women with wider hips, they produce more successful births. It's a higher probability for the babies to go through the uterus canal because they got wider hips. But men, we don't really know that. It's kind of like in our subconscious. I think that's what it is. But anyways, that's what I meant by that. Go ahead.
Okay. So now let's preface it like this, because now we know that humans biologically want to procreate. So now by that standard, because in our previous conversation, you said that children are not born heterosexual either. So if children are not born heterosexual, then how is it natural that they want to procreate? Because the only way procreation
I think you missed what I just said. Yeah, I'll say it again. All right, so I'll say it again slowly though, and I'll like walk with me here. So yeah, people aren't born heterosexual or homosexual. Heterosexual, if you Google it, it's the attraction for the opposite sex, being attracted to the opposite sex. I said that what we are born with, what is a propensity, not a proclivity, but a propensity, and a proclivity is two different things. It's a propensity. It's in your biological makeup. That is there to procreate. You get what I'm saying? So the proclivity, the tendencies that you have, that would be towards the gender. If you want to adhere to actually being able to procreate, in order to procreate, that same sex, that male has to be attracted to a woman, not to the same sex. So same sex attractions, they're not adhering to their propensity.
Okay, hold on. We're going to get to them in a minute, but I'm still stuck on, because I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying, or I don't think you even understand what you're saying. So
I understand what I'm saying, but you didn't get that? God dang, I explained it pretty good. All right, go ahead.
Hold on, Cooley. So again, let's walk slowly with each other, right? So again, if what you're saying that children or people are not born heterosexual, but then I have a natural, how is it now natural then for me to then want to procreate if I'm not? So then that means it's not a natural thing then. That means my heterosexuality and me wanting to procreate is by social and environmental factors, not by a natural proclivity of what I was naturally born to do.
No, because every human being is going to get horny. Is what you get horny by.
True. Okay, so now, so
that defeats everything you just said.
Wait, hold on. So we understand subconsciously, and we already went over the Coke bottle figure and all that. So naturally, as a man, I'm gonna naturally start getting aroused and attracted to the female figure because of procreation. So
once again,
was that because of environmental factors, or is that a natural thing?
So yeah, I'll answer it this way, but I'll say what I just said again. Every human being is going to get horny, but it's what you get horny by. So forget the horny by real quick. Let's focus on the horny. Every human being is going to get horny, which if you just peel the layer back, why? Because they want to procreate, which is in their biology. Now, horny by is after, right? So some people, depending on what they've been influenced by, they may get horny by another man if they're a man. Some people, most people, they get horny by the not the same sex attraction, but the opposite sex attraction. Most human beings are heterosexual.
Correct. So
yeah.
So then the point is that if, okay, people get horny, and now depending on what you get horny by, and then another thing you mentioned, attraction is just a thought. It's actually not that simple. Like you actually Googled, is attraction a thought, or what is attraction? It's actually a very complex and nuanced thing. So it's really studied in multiple sciences. So when you're saying getting horny by now,
we can debate it.
We can, but so when we're going to the getting horny by, so again, you're saying that people only got horny because they wanted to procreate. And I'm saying that if they got horny because they wanted to procreate, then that naturally means that they were heterosexual. Or if they got horny and not wanted to procreate.
That doesn't mean that, man. Human beings are going to get horny. That is a fact. The reason why they are going to get horny, because we are made to procreate. Why else would you get horny if you're not made to procreate? You get what I'm saying? But real quick, so we can get in detail, let me go ahead and close down an Instagram stream and a Facebook stream. Everyone on Instagram, we're going to go ahead and close down the stream now. We are live. Come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. Come on over now. We got a lot of people on there. So No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. We closing down the stream. Everybody on Facebook, come on over to YouTube now. We are closing on that stream too. 1 second. So we're only going to be live on YouTube. All right. 1 second. Let me close it down. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's get to the let's get down with this. No Diddy. So let's go back to the original question.
Okay.
You don't believe that people are born thinking about sex?
No, of course not.
Okay. If you do not believe that people are born thinking about sex, then how can someone be born gay if they're not thinking about sex?
So, for the same instance, I mean, when we're children, when we're babies, I mean, we don't really have that many senses going on. So, I mean, we're very minuscule in that sense. So there's only so many fundamentals going on. Right?
Okay. So wouldn't that conclude that people aren't born gay?
No, that would not conclude that.
Explain.
So again, we're almost saying, what do people have a natural proclivity or inkling to do? So and you're right, we can't prove a gay gene yet, but I remember at a point in time, we couldn't prove Bluetooth technology. We couldn't prove, some of the things that we've learned in quantum physics. So just because we haven't proven things now, don't mean that they don't exist. They just mean that they haven't.
And my argument is the only thing that people have a natural propensity for is to procreate, because all human beings get horny. Why else would they get horny if it wasn't a propensity to procreate? So that's the only thing in regards to this topic that is natural. Now, whether if they want to procreate with another man or with a woman, I'm saying that it's influence based. So it's nurtured based. It's based off of their five senses, what they've absorbed: seeing, touching, tasting, smelling, and hearing. Young kids at a young time, when the baby is even in the womb, You hear your mother's voice. You hear your father's voice. When it's outside the womb, you're soaking in all of these things via what you hear and via what you see. You're getting used to more of the feminine nature of things. You're getting used to more of the masculine nature of things. And all of these things that you're, being exposed to, you tend to find what you like and what you don't like. But all of this comes after birth. You get what I'm saying? It comes after birth. It takes time for you to actually be attracted to something and actually have thoughts that you're fixated on. So fixated thoughts would be, it's not even fixated really. I would say that it's more of a subconsciously as well when it comes to your attractions to things, because think about this too. Why can't we freaking remember anything after once we hit 4 years old? We don't remember anything before 4 years old. We hardly ever do. Some people may have some little glimpses of memories, but it's very hard to remember things before 4. Very, very hard. And especially before 3. Now, some people may have some memories at 3. It's like, oh, okay, dang, you remember that? God dang. But 2 years old and 1, you don't hardly remember anything. I don't think there is a human being that still remembers their thoughts. Remember, with that being said, most of these things at this very young age that we are absorbing, they make up what you're attracted to. They make up the certain, proclivities that you're even going to have, these tendencies that you're going to have that you may not even be aware of sometimes. Like you ever chilling with your homies and some of your homies are booty guys, but then the other homies are titty guys. And the booty and titty guys is just, we can never really understand one another. Like, if you a booty guy, chick can have titties like yours and you don't care. She can have no breast at all, you don't care. But if you a titty guy, you kind of, you usually like both when you having those discussions. But I say all of that to say, man, the attraction, no one is born thinking about sex, bro. That argument is undefeated. So since you're not born thinking about sex, you aren't born gay. Everything else just comes after. It's tendencies via influences and your experiences.
Well, we'll go on 2 things here. So
okay,
quick,
cool.
I like what you did. So when you mention certain things that I can concede on, that doesn't mean the overall point is what I'm conceding on.
Okay, what can you concede on? Go ahead. I want to hear it.
But no, as far as the analogy with the titty guys and different things of that nature, we get all that. We know some of the things that you were saying are just fundamental facts. But here's that when we start talking about, so when you say when people get horny or when people want to have sex fundamentally because they want to procreate or based on what you get aroused by. So I'm going to say the human sex is different than that of anything in the animal kingdom because, for instance, we're the only ones that can have sex based off of pleasure. Nobody else does that in the animal kingdom. So that's almost a different element to the sex that we're not even looking at. Most mammals, especially when we're looking at mammals, they're only going to procreate when a woman is in heat. Most of the time, the man is just running around. He's not even tripping until that thing gets stanking, and now he over there trying to hump. I raise pigs, I raise dogs, so I know how the males get when the women are in heat. But other than that, he doesn't even care about the girls. But humans, especially the male, it's almost like women are always in heat. We're always thinking about women. And then now I'm going to almost go back to the preface of my original thing.
Well, once
boys go through prepubescence, they didn't have to go through anything to just say that titty guy didn't have to go through anything to become the titty guy. It was just once he became a boy in high school, around college, he just started liking big breasts. He didn't have to get big breasts put in his face. He didn't have to experience them. He just knew that he thought he liked them now because he
doesn't have a memory of it. But I think titty guys was probably breastfed for a long time. Truthfully, titty guys is breastfed for a long time. That's why they have this tendency to love titties. Like, come on, bro, you weird. Booty guys is like, Most men are booty guys. Titty guys is a small population. So they was breastfed a little longer. But all jokes aside, in regards to the things that you said, I'm not going to concede on that part. I can't give you that in regards to the whole human beings were different than the animals and stuff like that. I can't let you off the hook by saying that, because there's women and men that would have sex when they're not horny. Like, think about women, prostitution, for an example. They do it for money. So I would say that, yeah, there's something added on, like icing added on, that humans would need to do something as far as sexual without getting pleasure. And then we also have to speak about even the one example is just females, prostitution. They do it just, oh, I need the money, let me go ahead and do it. And they don't even think about, not even prostitution, think about how many women are in relationships with men that they never even orgasm. They get no pleasure from it. Actually, you know what? If we say most women, they probably get pleasure from seeing their man getting pleased. So who are we to say that the animal kingdom don't experience any pleasure? Maybe their pleasure is knowing that they're going to have leave a legacy behind. You know what I'm saying? We really don't truly know. So with that statement that you said, saying that we are the only species that receives pleasure via sex, that's not necessarily true. And then also, we aren't the only species that, in order to have sex, it has to be pleasurable, because there's a lot of married women and married men, especially women, that don't receive any pleasure via having sex with little dick niggas, or, men that really don't know what they're doing. So, yeah, I can't give you that one. But let's go back to the original point, because I don't want you to run from this.
Wait, hold on. Hold the original point. I'm not going to let you do that, Cooley, because you added a whole bunch
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead.
You added a whole bunch of onlys that I didn't add in there. So I didn't say that people only have sex because of these different reasons. But now, if you're not gonna, I didn't say people only have sex because of pleasure or to procreate. I said as humans, we are the only ones compared to animals that can have sex for pleasure. And you said you don't agree with that. And I'll say, well, this
correct.
Then, do you ever see dogs trying to hump the girl dogs when girl dogs are not in heat?
Bro, I see dogs trying to hump the bed. What you talking about? They want pleasure. Dogs be trying to hump little teddy bears. They be trying to hump the little cushions on the couch.
You know
them
what?
niggas be horny. They want pleasure. Matter of fact, I seen a video on TikTok, a monkey. Sorry, chat. God dang, we got to speak about it because it's debate night. I seen a monkey on top of a car at a zoo jerking off, popping it. I'm like, God dang, jerking off. That's for pleasure. So yeah, man. So your argument is just wrong.
Hold on. Those can be learned behaviors, and I don't know about dogs living all in the house. Wait, no, because you're talking about animals not in their natural state. Animals don't live in zoos. Animals don't live in zoos, and dogs don't live in houses. So yes, when you have dogs who live in houses, they're going to exhibit unnatural behaviors, and when you have animals in zoos, they're going to exhibit natural behaviors. Have you ever been
proves my argument.
So have you ever been watching National Geographic and seen monkeys or orangutans masturbating in the wild? Or have we ever seen this on National Geographic? Okay, we witnessed.
I mean, I could probably pull up some videos on TikTok. Everything is on TikTok.
Okay, to disagree to agree on that point, because I don't believe. Okay,
fair enough. Let's get back to. Can we get back to my original point?
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the original point. What's your question?
All right. So, do you believe that manipulation happens when you focus on the effects instead of getting to the root, the cause of things?
Yeah, it can.
It can, So
yeah.
I think that most people tend to manipulate themselves by focus on the effects and manipulate other people by speaking about effects. So when I'm going to the root, and when I say that there's not one human being born thinking about sex, that means that no human being is born gay, because attractions comes from thoughts. It comes from your mind. It comes from the mind. Attraction comes from the mind. You get what I'm saying? It comes from. Okay, so I mean, if it's not, we do know that there's attraction. If it comes from your biology, so it comes from the mind, but it's produced. It comes from a lot of attractions comes from the biology for sure. We do know that there are natural attractions, but if we break it all the way down to the root of things, and we're speaking about, like, let's just bring it all the way to the root of it. Here's the root. Human beings are attracted to food. You know why? Because if we don't eat, we gonna die. So we attract to food. We have to live, right? So human beings want to live. Since we want to live, we are attracted to food. Human beings are attracted to breathing. You get what I'm saying? If we don't breathe, we're gonna die. Human beings have a natural propensity, it's embedded in them, to procreate, right? So therefore, human beings have a tendency, not a natural proclivity, to be attracted, to get horny. That's the byproduct of it. So so think about this. I'll break it down better for you guys. I'll use better words. Since human beings are created to procreate, the byproduct of that is that they get horny. Since human beings are created to live, the byproduct of that is that they get hungry, right? After you're hungry, you eat food, but sometimes you like certain foods and you don't like other foods. Well, this is all based off of a multitude of things, right? Like influence based. You tasted this, you don't like that. You get what I'm saying? You're picky, da-da-da-da-da. Same thing when it comes with sex, right? Oh, bro, you born to procreate, you're going to get horny. Well, are you going to get horny by a man or are you going to get horny by a woman? These are all after effects. So if we're getting to the root of it, no one's born thinking about sex, bro. It's not in our biology to actually think about that. No one's born thinking about being attracted to a man if you're a male. What? It's all effects, bro. So it proves my point that it's all, and I'll let you speak. My bad. I'm going on a tangent real quick. All of this just proves my point that gay people aren't born gay. Gay people choose to be gay based off of what they've been influenced by.
So, okay, now let's go to this. Let me go to this. I don't think that everybody who identifies with the LGBTQ community is born that way. That's not what I'm saying, but we're just talking about for the sake of the conversation and the argument. So if you're going to say, again, that people, because the reason why we get horny is to procreate, then you have to concede that heterosexuality is a natural proclivity. You can't get. I'm not saying children think about sex.
Not a proclivity.
Think about sex, but if you're gonna say that the only reason why I get
proclivities
horny,
are tendencies.
Okay, so if you're gonna say that the only reason why I get horny or the reason why people get horny is to procreate, then therefore that involves, like you said, heterosexual relationships, and then that's a natural occurrence. Meaning I was born
then it's what you missed. Why would I say stuff you don't like? Package it all in. I'll say it again. Like, yeah, people are born to procreate. That's what their biology is telling them. Their biology is made. They're not even telling them. The biology is made to procreate. You get it? So since your biology is made to procreate, you are going to, the byproduct of it is you're going to get horny. Now, depending on what you're horny by is after. Comes after.
No.
It comes.
No.
Nigga, it comes after.
No, I'm gonna tell
you're not born that way. Okay, our baby's born. Put it like this: our baby's born horny.
No.
Then they're not born gay. Come on, man. You use regular logic, bro. Walk with me here.
So look. Stop bringing up the argument. We know children are not born thinking about sex and born with that. We know that, but listen to what
no. Because you keep going to effects. What I'm doing here, real quick. Let me just give you some help here. When you speak, every time you speak, I could literally point to the effect. Every time I speak, I'm pointing to the root, the cause. Right? So the cause of what I'm saying is human beings literally was created to procreate, right? Since they are made to procreate, the natural occurrence is going to be horny. They're going to get horny. Now, what they get horny by is a step after. That's the natural occurrence. No. You know what? Okay, no. I'll explain how. What they get horny.
No, okay, hey.
Okay.
My bad, but hey, how about stop there?
Okay, I'll stop there and tell me why not. Go ahead.
Okay, because now if you're saying that because people have to procreate and then the natural occurrence is that they're going to get horny, you can't say by what now, because if you're going to say that it's only because of procreation, therefore the only thing I would get horny by is the opposite sex if it's only for procreation.
No, because you have a choice, my friend, and that comes afterwards. Do you get what I'm saying? You're asserting. You're making an assertion, right? So you've asserted in there. You smuggled that in there. You smuggled in, well, the only thing that they would get horny by, that's smuggling something in there. That's what you're putting on there. The only thing that they would get horny by is the same sex. Remember, you have a choice. Everything that we experience in this life is based off of what our five senses absorbs: seeing, touching, tasting, smelling, and hearing. You get it? So based off of what our five senses absorbs, that's going to create over time what we like and what we dislike. That's the only way you know what you get horny by.
And I don't believe that. I just brought up the analogy of the titty man. Hold on. I brought up the analogy of the
nigga was breastfed for 5 years, bro.
Experience titties. Oh, my bad. He didn't need to experience breasts in order to finally say he likes breasts or to be aroused by breasts. He just finally comes to the conclusion that he is aroused by breasts.
That's a preference, though. That's much different. Dudes get aroused once a man. So here's the thing. Once men get aroused by feet, my homie. They get aroused by a chick elbows. They'll see a back of chicks be posting on Instagram. No face, no case. No, don't even post a face. It just be them and their back be turned, and all you see is the back of their neck and hair. Was attracted to that? No, they just know that it's a woman. So it's like, oh, niggas got no options out here, so they'll just take anything that they can get. They'll take a female. No matter how the female comes, they'll take the female. So the preferences is a subcategory under a bigger category. So the female is the category. The subcategories is what the female has that other men may be attracted to based off of their preferences, like butts, breast, stuff like that, right? But the entire category of the female and of the male are its own categories. We're not arguing subcategories. Subcategories, even if we're arguing that, subcategories is all still based off of effects. I'm trying to get you to the root to focus on the entire category of things. So if we're speaking about the category of females and the category of males, none of them are born thinking about sex. They're not born having thoughts of wanting to have sex with a man or a woman. And not only that, boys, they don't hit puberty until they what, 12 years old, 12 to 14 years old. Usually they don't get some nuts, some semen in their nuts. So before then, they may get a little woody, but they woody ain't like when they got semen in it. You get what I'm saying? So they're woodies when they're young. When we young as men, when we young as boys, it's like, yeah, we know we like girls, but it's like we don't really get horny. So even if we're speaking about, think about it, right? You try to attach horniness. Now I'm breaking you down more. You try to attach horniness with the biology and say that, well, since we are created to procreate, then the byproduct of it is horny, but you can be horny to a man or a woman. No, like I said, all of that comes after. It all comes after. But listen, I want to get some, because I got people in here that want to debate you, actually. Well, they want to get they want to tangle with you. So I'll do a multi-panel and bring some people up. Because I think this debate is, you conceded on a few things. And I think the main thing if you can the main thing that you've already conceded on is that no one is born thinking about sex, and that concludes that no one is born being gay. If the only thing that can help you out here is if you want to talk about attraction. If you want to go into attractions and say, hey, thoughts aren't really attractions, then I think we got a debate. But if you don't think that you can tangle in that discussion and saying that thoughts aren't attractions, or that it's separately or much different, then you have to concede that since no one is born thinking about sex, no one is born gay.
Well, okay, so if I'm going to concede that point, because I've already said nobody is born thinking about sex. I've mentioned that several times. But if I'm going to concede the point that nobody is born gay, then you're going to have to concede the point that if nobody is born heterosexual, that we don't get horny to procreate.
This guy, you didn't even steel man my argument properly, bro. So I'll just the chat heard it. I said it so many times. I'm not gonna say it again. But all right, man. Stay. I want to bring some people up. I think they want to probably speak to you. Let's see, Miguel. Got you, Miguel. Got you, Pedro. And hey, Muller. I see you in here. If you want to come up, write me in a private chat. Dive, D-I-V. Let me know what you want to debate about. I'll bring you up, Muller. Cool.
Yo.
Real quick, since I'm bringing some new faces up to the audience,
What's up, Muller?
Let's go
who said that?
Miguel.
Oh, what up, man?
Miguel. Let's go ahead and just have everyone introduce themselves real quick. Let's start with Miguel.
How y'all doing? My name is Miguel Peterson.
Where you from?
I've been kind of watching I'm from Memphis. Well, I'm not from Memphis, Tennessee, but I live in Memphis, Tennessee. Been here since '89. I am 49 years old. And I've been watching, I just kind of, I don't really watch all the shows. The only show that I actually get on and watch and stay on these shows for like over an hour is No Fugazi. Because I feel like these discussions that you all are having are necessary to open up dialogue. I appreciate you, brother. What's your name with the dreads?
He's talking to you, bro. I don't think he...
you know what? I don't know why I couldn't hear him on my end.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear him now?
Okay.
He's speaking now.
Can you hear me?
Damn, that's crazy. Can you press unmute? Oh, it's a delay on the phone, on the TV. No,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know why.
Yeah, you
shows
probably...
me and you, Cooley.
Okay.
He shows mute on your end?
No, it just shows me and you. I don't see nobody else up here on the panel on the restream.
Really?
Okay, let me check 1 second. Let me check YouTube real quick. Make sure.
I mean, he's on the screen. I could see him on this side and YouTube, no? Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, no, everyone is good. I think it's just maybe something. Maybe exit the stream and come back in.
All right.
Yeah, just exit and come right back in. I'll bring you on up.
All right.
Cool. Okay, Miguel. Cool. And then also let me get Pedro. Introduce yourself, man. Where you from?
Pedro, Perth Amboy, New Jersey.
Word. And Muller, what's going on, man? Introduce yourself to the audience.
Mahler from the west side, from California, man.
Cool. Thanks, gentlemen, for coming on up. So, I mean, I debated two people on the topic: is people born gay? I obliterated the one guy that came in before him. He conceded. This guy, he pretty much conceded too, but he really didn't want to concede. His pride was taking advantage of him. But what's up, man? Talk to me. What y'all want to speak about?
I was going to say, so your argument is that that essentially, as babies or as we're born, we don't have any proclivities, or we do, but in a sense that anything that's developed, especially when it comes to attraction, is by experience and in our environment, essentially, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right. So yeah. I don't know who's been able to debunk that. Has he been talking about the gay gene or something?
He didn't go to the gay gene. He didn't debunk it. He would argue around it and go to, he would use like examples of, the animal culture, but he just, went around the discussion a lot. Is what it was. He was going in circles, and then I would have to bring him right back to the topic. He would then try to get off the topic, but that's what it is when you can't really defeat that main point.
Well,
Can I just say that ultimately the argument that they give is just it is a defense to justify my wrong behavior, my desires, uh, to accommodate my own selfishness, and that's all it is. Now, most of your audience will probably admit to being Christians, uh, and and one of the things about that is we understand as Christians, we understand that our battle is not flesh and blood, that there are demonic and spiritual aspects to all of it. The spirit of lying. I mean, the Bible lists the many different type of demonic spirits that are out there: lying, stealing, killing, thieving,
is he
whoremongering,
back?
homosexual tendencies, uh, and a lot of these are spiritual aspects. However, that's Satan gets a lot of blame for a lot of things that he ain't got nothing to do with because a lot of this is um, personal choice, uh, choosing to give into a desire uh, that goes outside of your natural. A lot of what Cooley is really pointing out is that this is mostly cultivated over a time. I'll give you an example. I have a younger cousin, and when he was a child, 2, 3 years old, back to when you was talking about, oh, you don't really have memories of it. When he was a child at 2, 3 years old, uh, he was surrounded by a lot of women growing up. He had an abusive father, uh, and he would run around and put towels on his head and do all those things. And the people around him, his mother, grandmother, all these, they would say, "Oh, he gonna be gay. He gonna be gay." Now he's 2 years old now, and they're speaking this over him.
And already
I
influence and accepting of it.
right, and so I bet you if I asked every last one of y'all, what do you think he turned out? Well, he's a Leah fan. He wear the wig, get the nails, full blown gay.
Yeah.
But this was spoken over him, and this was really thrust upon him. I have another cousin who's older, ladies' man,
So
went to jail, came back gay. Uh, Back in the 70s and 80s, that's usually what happened to guys that typically went to jail. They was kind of ladies' man, the gender guy. They get caught up in something. They not the street guy. They usually go to jail. They come back home gay.
but it would
We
be
all know that to be
yeah, it's the experiences, but I guess I would ask the brother here. This is the question that I have. It's going to be on the same path, but the brother here that believes that you're born that way, are you claiming there's like a gene? Can he hear us now?
Hey, can you hear now, man?
I think he can. No, you're muted.
Now you're muted. We can't hear
Now you're
you.
muted. Well, I don't know what the other brother believes. Does anybody else believe that you're born that way?
The guy, Dive, I think. Hey,
Hello?
down to
Yeah.
the
Can you hear
bottom
me?
right. State your name and where you're from.
My name is Dave.
Div, okay.
I'm from Texas.
Div from
I'm
Texas.
24.
You wrote me in a private chat and you said, I want to debate that they don't choose to be gay. Okay, so you don't think that
Yes.
it's a choice. So go ahead and explain yourself.
So, to still mind your argument, you said what you believe is that uh, they were not born that way, but they were influenced to be that way, and they have a choice, right?
Correct.
I don't think it's possible for them to like be influenced to be that way and have a choice at the same time. For example, like if like growing up as a kid, your environment influences the way your brain develops, and your sexual whatever part of your brain, if you experience some kind of trauma that changes the development of that alters the natural path of development of the sexual part of the brain or something. That's not your choice that it happened. Someone took advantage of you and corrupted that development. And by that logic, it wouldn't be a choice. It would just
So,
be
question.
that your environment.
Question for you then. I was born in a hood, projects, railway projects to be exact. I was born around Bloods and Crips. My brother did a total of 20 years in prison. He's double OG. He's a fool. He's fully blooded out. He got bodies. My brother is really thorough and about that life. My brother, so in my environment, I had all the influence, every way I looked and angle I looked, I was influenced to be a product of my environment. To drink, to smoke, to sell drugs, and to be in a gang. I've never drunk, I've never smoked, I've never did these things. So by your logic, right? You just said that, well, people, based off of what they experience and how they were being raised, they don't have a choice. It's embedded into them. I would say that my own anecdotal experience, and I know there's many other people in the chat, that they've been in certain environments but chose not to indulge in what they've experienced.
Okay. That doesn't like, that's not the same thing.
Well, from what you just said, that defeats your argument. So elaborate more then. Maybe I'm missing your argument. Go ahead. Sure.
Here's why. That's not the same thing. So you growing up in an environment that's dangerous and maybe you grew up in a low social economic class or something. That's not the same thing as sexual attraction. You understand?
I don't think it is. But how you explained it, you said that sexual attraction is not a choice. You're saying that people don't choose to be gay.
Okay, here.
Yeah, he's saying that the environment, that they're in has dictated that they'll come out that way. Therefore, it's not their choice. But
yeah, that's what you're saying.
But in the end, they're not born that way, correct?
Yeah, they're not born that way.
Okay, so then you're just saying
I agree with that, but I'm saying that it's not their choice.
Well,
here, if you grow up in the hood or low social economic environment,
right?
Their influence on you does not like.
Yeah, but you don't have
there's
to
no
succumb
part
to
of your brain that develops.
So here's a difference, real quick. So I could say that they don't choose to have the attraction, like it's not a actual like a choice for them to have that attraction because those attractions are a little bit. It's a lot to untangle when it comes in attraction. There's a lot of things that you were influenced by to have that attraction. So is it actually like a conscious choice? That is not the argument. But the thing is, do they choose to act on it? Yeah, they do choose to act on it.
Okay, yeah. Because when I heard your argument the first time, what you said was that they were influenced and they have a choice.
No. So we were speaking about born. I don't think that's correct. Speaking about born.
Yeah, they have a choice. They have a choice to around that influence to succumb to it or not. And sometimes they do. They choose no. I don't feel
to act on it.
To act on it or not.
Different.
Yeah.
That's totally different.
I guess the question, since we don't have the other brother here that disagrees, I don't know if the real question is whether if you're saying your audience is primarily Christian, or what the other brother thought about it is being gay a sin? Because then that might affect why he's thinking that you have to be born with it. So I know that's where the argument usually comes from.
Yeah, the other gentleman, I actually asked him that question in the beginning. He said that being gay is a sin. He said that is immoral. So I defeat the guy with the dreads.
Wait a minute. So then God made him that way. Right.
Yeah, I defeated him bad. So you missed it. I said that
I caught the second guy that you pretty much he conceded the point, and then I started watching.
Yeah, but before the second guy came in, he came in the beginning of the podcast, and we argued. And I said that I called him easily. I said, "Listen, do you believe that being gay is immoral? Like, do you believe it's a sin?" He said, "From my worldview, yeah, it's a sin. It's immoral." I said, "So if you believe it's a sin and it's immoral, you believe that God made someone that way? Like you were born to be immoral,
What did he
like
say about
truly
that?
immoral?" He like. He didn't concede. He never concedes. He brung up some example that just didn't fit the topic at all. So he just evaded the question.
Well, yeah, that was rough, especially if he thinks that it's a sin. That means God made him that way. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, it was like a full worldview contradiction.
All right. So,
And even kind of address the gentleman at the bottom right.
yeah, the brother.
I know homosexuals that will admit they know it's wrong, but they choose to do it. And so, even being brought up in an environment, Julio talked about his environment. He chose to not follow the examples. He chose not to follow the pool to be drawn into it, and it's all around him. Now, he could have very simply just went along with the sensation, the excitement, the thrill of it, and went down that path. But he made the choice that I know that that's wrong. I know, I see what the outcome is, all the gangsters around me, folks dying, folks going to jail. I know what all that leads to. And I choose not to take that path. That is the same thing, whereas even with my cousin, even though he was being exposed to this at a young age, being professed over him, he still chose to give into the impulses, because as Christians, we know that the Bible tells us, the Word of God tells us, to resist sin, to resist the devil, to run from sin. So,
Yeah, in the end, it's a
we,
perversion, is what it is. But
Okay.
there's all types of perversions. But go ahead, bro.
So,
I got a question for the gentleman
so
beneath me. I got a
my bad.
question. So
Okay.
you said that it's not a choice because of how trauma you experienced during your childhood or in your youth, correct?
Not me, they, but yeah.
So you didn't say that?
No, not me. Not the trauma I experienced. They
Okay,
experienced.
yeah. They experienced, right.
Yeah, he not
So,
talking about him. He like, nah, I ain't.
so,
With that shit.
so, so my question is, so is homosexuality a trauma response?
It's possible. So 80%. I mean, don't. I mean, you could fact check it. You could
Okay.
fact check it. I might be wrong. I might not, but I've seen a stat that says that 80% of them were how can I say MOLES dead?
Yeah.
mhm.
Well,
Wait a minute.
you can say
As
Yeah,
high
I've
as
abuse.
seen a stat that says
as
like
high as 80%, really? Gotta look at that.
yeah,
That's
I've seen a
crazy.
stat that said
Wow.
that like 80% of them were like
Yeah, I mean,
MULS dead as a child. That's why I say that
And then
being is it's not a choice. The attraction is not a choice.
See,
yeah,
as
That's
that's
what I'm
far
kind of
saying.
as
crazy.
far as I'm look,
High, bro.
I got two gay siblings, and as far as I'm concerned, neither one of them was molested, and they're gay as hell.
So
Mhm.
so
Like
So,
is it
and
male or female?
both, I got a male gay brother and a sister who transitioned.
I mean, were you with them all through their childhood? Do you
I'm their
you
I'm
know
their
it's a fact, hundred
I'm
percent?
their older brother. Yeah, I was with them the whole time.
Yeah. So you know, were you with them in class? Were you with them in school? Everywhere?
We went
Were
to
you with
the
them
we went
100% throughout their life?
we went to the same
Because it just
schools.
takes like 1 minute.
Okay.
It takes 1 minute, brother. Only 1 minute.
yeah,
That's all
but
it takes.
yeah, he's vouching. He's saying that they weren't. But I guess
yeah, he's saying that
what's
they're
your point?
wrong.
Are you saying that they were born that way, or what are your thoughts?
No.
No. I'm talking about the brother who has the. No, they weren't right. They
No, they weren't born that way. They weren't.
then what's
My
your opinion
brother,
then? What happened?
well, I think that it was caused by trauma.
Oh,
I think it was because like the brother next to Cooley said, my brother kept hearing, oh, he's gonna be gay because he'll come out the room in like my mother's shoes or with like her lipstick all over her face. You
Oh
know what I'm
dang.
saying? And they're
Okay.
like, oh, he gonna be gay. He gonna be gay. Next thing you know,
Ooh,
dude is
he gay.
gay. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's like that. It's an
Wait, do
influential
you actually
factor.
have you told your brother that? Like, have you ever told your brother that's why you think that?
Oh yeah, we've spoken on this many times.
Does he admit it? Does he say, yeah, I was probably influenced early, but now I got that? Or
He
does he
he
say he's
claims
born?
he claims that that didn't really affect him, but he's still a manly guy. He doesn't like to talk about his feelings and stuff like that. But from watching him grow up, I saw it like, oh, they used to compare him to me too, like, oh, you're not as strong as your older brother, or you gotta fight for your sisters like your older brother does. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't want to do that. To him, that was like out of pocket. So he went. I think he went in a different direction.
And then what about your sister then?
It was it was the same thing. She started playing softball. They call her playing catch with me, matter of fact, and it was like, oh, what are you, maricona? And it's like a
She
lesbian,
just
like,
started playing softball.
I mean,
yeah, bro.
calling.
Is that
I
simple,
don't
That'll
think.
bring
bro?
it,
I
bro.
don't think
That'll bring it,
making jokes. I don't think
He
making
said
jokes about like,
softball, bro. That's
oh,
crazy.
bro. I'm telling
I
you,
don't think
I'm
making
telling you,
jokes to.
No, no,
it's not. I'm not joking.
bro.
I'm not.
I'm
He's
not. I'm not
laughing, but I'm
laughing.
not
I'm not
joking.
No,
joking.
no, 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 no.
I'm not saying that
I
you're
don't care
joking.
about the joke. I'm talking about. I don't think making jokes to kids like, oh, you're gonna be gay is
No,
gonna
no,
turn you
yeah.
gay.
Right.
Honestly,
But they're not
I
making
don't think
jokes.
so.
That's the
No,
whole
but
It's
that's the
thing
not
about
point.
it.
He's
jokes,
saying
my
that
guy.
they're
It's
influencing
literally
him.
Right.
Yeah,
being
I get you now.
apprehended and being
Yeah.
beat because they're doing something out of their gender according to their gender norms. Like my brother dressing like a lady, that was weird. But like my sister playing softball like that, bro, come on. There's
That's
a
weird.
WNBA. There's
Hey, yo,
All
listen,
right,
Like I said,
I'll
bro.
look,
give
I
you
Listen.
got a
guys
Question
a.
cousin.
for
He was
Cooley.
straight. He was a ladies' man. He was
Question.
straight. He went to jail. He got raped in jail.
Yo,
He
this is
came out of
crazy.
jail. Gay. My other cousin I spoke about when he was little, they were speaking over him all the time, and me and him have had a conversation about it. And he said to me, "I don't know why I'm like this. I remember hearing people saying that I was gonna be gay. I was gonna be gay. I was gonna be gay, and I'm gay. I don't even know why I'm like this." So in his aspect, words have power,
Yeah, I mean,
and our
it could be
words.
implanted thoughts, but now you guys
Yeah.
you're gonna have this hashtag saying, "Oh, softball chicks are gay." It's already going in the chat, bro. Oh my goodness, softball chicks are always gay. He says, "Yo, bro,
All sports girls are gay,
that is a
So that
W.
means
That's a
Angel Reese
W
should be
take,
gay.
bro."
That means Caitlin Clark should be gay. That means, just because they picked up a ball and started playing sports,
This
they
guy
gonna be gay.
funny.
That don't.
It's crazy because a lot
Question.
of women that do play sports do end up being lesbian. Like the chicks that play basketball, bro. A lot of them be gay. A lot of them be.
So then that's it, bro. So this is all. We just solved it. Wow, this is great. I feel good.
I
No,
think the
no,
solving.
no.
I
We
think I
haven't.
got a.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, we solved
I
it,
got
bro.
something for y'all. Actually,
No, 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 no. I
here's a
disagree.
perspective.
All we came
I
to.
got something for y'all. Right. So I didn't say this because I was just debating people, but these are things that I've thought about deeply. It's the problem with perception, right? So here's a perspective. This perspective is rooted around perception. Scientists don't know why we perceive things differently, meaning that two human beings can experience the same thing but perceive it differently. You and I get into a car crash. Nothing happens to us in a car crash. The same thing happens. We both have the experience, but our perception of the experience is different. I walk away from the car crash. We got no injuries. I'm fine. I go home. I take a Uber. The next day, I could drive a car perfectly fine. But the next person, the other person that was in a car with me, they're scared of cars. They don't even want to see cars. They can't be in a car. They don't want to be around cars. So that's based off of how they perceive things. So when it comes to homosexuality and stuff like that, we all have similar experiences, but we have very, very different perceptions and how we perceive things. So I think that the gay person, yeah, like you said that your brother and your sister is gay. They chose to go down that path. You said that you're their older brother. Nothing happened to them. They never got molested, right? Okay, and now you've had similar experiences because you've been around them, but you had very different perceptions of things. You get what I'm saying? So even when if we package that in, it still makes the same conclusion that no one is born gay, and it still makes the same conclusion that being gay is a choice, and then also the action of it is a choice. The attraction, is based off how you perceive it. It may not be a conscious choice, but is definitely somewhere in that field of maybe a subconscious choice. But yeah,
that's facts.
That's my take.
Okay,
that's facts.
Question.
You think is
two aspects to it. One's choice, and one can be, as I truly believe in the spiritual aspect of things. One is choice. I can find myself in a situation and choose to lie.
Yeah.
Another one is spiritual influence, where I can be in a situation, and because I have been taken over by a lying spirit. Those are the people that you pretty much say they're habitual liars. They lie all the time. That's more of a spiritual aspect versus a choice aspect where I can choose to do it, or that spirit in me, as soon as I open up my mouth, a lie just comes out. And typically you can spot the difference in the two of those, because one will lie all the time about all kinds of things. Another will find themselves in situations and lie for a purpose, to choose to tell a lie. And the same thing with the homosexual aspect. I feel like my younger cousin, that was spoken over him, and that spirit was spoken onto him. Whereas my other cousin found himself in a situation and afterwards chose that he enjoyed it. And so he continued in it.
But the other brother was talking, the bottom right side. I don't have the names here, but you were saying you were still pressing him that maybe something happened to his brother and his sister. You really think that?
I don't know. Maybe the probability that something happened to his brother and sister is very high. That's what I'm saying. It's like super
because
high.
of the 80% study you saw that was done.
83% of the LGBTQ.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Wouldn't that have more to do with how hypersexualized society has become over time?
That could have something to do
influence.
with it. They could have seen something on
society.
I don't know if you guys had the internet back then, but they could have seen something.
Damn, bro, I'm not that old.
Internet.
No, you didn't have the internet.
I'm
you
the
didn't have
oldest
the
person
internet,
in
bro.
the
You were
room
too
right
old
now.
for
I'm
it.
49. So.
Yo, fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and wind down stream and get to some super chats and react to some clips. Hopefully, we can get some new people in here that want to debate. I think for the main part,
I got two questions for you after, Cooley.
Sure. I think for the main part, we kind of all came to an agreement on this topic, but good discussion, man.
Softball's bad. Softball for the ladies is not good. Ain't that right, brother?
Fucking
bro. All right, y'all.
Man, Div, I'll leave you back up. I'll leave you in here. What's going on, man? You said you got two questions. Make it quick for me so I can get to these super chats and react to some more content. Go ahead. Is it a debating purpose question or no?
Yeah, debating purpose.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we came to a logical conclusion that they're not born gay, right? But also, you agreed that their attraction was not a choice, right?
It's not a conscious choice.
Yeah. So then it's not. So would you say that, like, because you're Christian, right? And I'm Christian as well.
Yep.
Do you think in God's eye, if they die and it's not their fault that they're attracted to what they're attracted to, do you think they're going to, whatever hell is, or
nah.
heaven?
Yeah, I don't think so. If they have an attraction and they don't act on it, I think that so if they have a desire and they do not act on it, I think that they still can, make it to heaven for sure. I think that they can still be forgiven. You get what I'm saying? And make it to the promised land. It's when they act on it. So when they act on it, that's when it's a big problem, right? That's when it's a big, because we got many desires. Like we all have these desires that we don't act on. You get what I'm saying? Like we have many desires that we don't act on because it's like, it's immoral. I'm not going to do that. But then we have desires that we do act on. And normally it's those desires that we act on is sinful, or it leads to some type of sin. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
But isn't the desire itself sin?
The desire itself is, can we say the desire itself is a sinful desire, an immoral desire? Yes,
to the Bible, right?
It is an immoral desire to have.
So what do you think about that? Would they?
So I'll compare it to this. How many married men have the desire to sleep with other women, but they don't do it?
A lot.
Okay, so they still going to heaven, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would say, you know, if you
counter question would be how many?
Because it's not what it's about. If you're going to put religion into it, it's a little bit different in my belief, because as long as you repent in the name of Jesus, you know, and you change your ways, you can make it to the promised land. Now, changing your desire won't fade away, but if you change your choice or not to choose to act on your desire, I think you've changed your ways. I repeat.
So if you choose to deny yourself,
if you choose to not act on your desire, you changed your way.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Now I have another question on free will.
Okay.
But that will be after your super chat.
I mean, we could get to it because I'm gonna get to the super chats and then I'm gonna react to some content. So go ahead. You could ask me a question on free will.
Okay. So about free will, right? Yeah. My background is Catholic, and but I'm Nigerian and I'm Catholic. So there was a time in my life where like I disconnected from the church and God and all that, but then I've come to rediscover that. Like I'm analyzing my faith step by step, and my problem is free will right now. That's where I'm stuck at.
Okay, so you don't believe that we have free will, or what do you mean?
I don't know. I think most likely we don't. That's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
So I think if the characteristics for God is that he is all-knowing, omnipotent, omnipresent, immaterial. You know, if he's all-knowing, then he already knows everything that's going to happen. And I know some people say he gives up his all-knowing ability so that we can have the choice.
He doesn't.
To choose.
No, he doesn't give up his all-knowing ability.
All right. So if he's all-knowing, then he already knows what I'm going to do. He already knows who is going to heaven, right? According to Revelations, we already know the multitude of people that are going to heaven and the people that are going to and that are not going to heaven.
Yeah.
So according to the Bible, he already knows all these things. So how do you know and then we have free will at the same time? How does he know and give us free will at the same time? That does not calculate. That does not.
Okay, I got you, man. So a quick question for you: do you want to make this
human comprehension? But
are you seeking understanding, or are you trying to make this a debating topic, or are you just seeking to do you want to believe that we have free will, or?
I want it to make sense.
You want it to make sense. Okay, cool. So I'm not going to do this as a debating tactic. Then I'm going to actually talk to you as just brother to brother. So here's a perspective which is rooted in truth, right? So there's many dimensions. Many dimensions. We're in the third dimension. We can only see the second dimension, though. We're in the third dimension, but we only operate in the second dimension as far as our observations of things, I do believe. Yes. With that being said, anything beyond the third dimension goes into the fourth and the fifth dimension, and those dimensions aren't bound by time. They're timeless. So our dimension that we are in, we have a measuring system, and this measuring system, we can't operate without this measuring system. Like, it's embedded into this dimension. Since we can only see in this dimension, it's embedded into it, meaning that time rules us. Time rules us in this dimension. God is not bound by any dimensions. He's not bound by time, space, or matter. So when we say that God is all-knowing, he is all-knowing because God is not bound by this dimension. He knows the beginning and the end. With knowing the beginning and the end, this does not take away the ability of choice. Okay? I'll give you an example. So I believe the organism is microbes. I do believe it's microbes. I could be wrong. I do believe it's microbes. Let's see here. One second here, chat. Just making sure. So to make sure I'm speaking accurately here, so I'm going to Google it. I do believe it's microbes, though. Yeah, it is microbes, I do believe. Okay, cool. So for an example, microbes, they operate in the first dimension where it's flat. So it's
microbes.
Yeah, I do believe it's microbes. Let me make sure. It's one of the things that's flat, and they're not aware of the second dimension. So they don't even know that they have any depth or width or anything. They just know that it's, front and back. I believe it's microbes, or if I'm incorrect, it's one of these small microscopic organisms. Okay, let's just explain it that way. So there's a very small microorganism out there that they see things in the first dimension. They're flat, and even when we view them, we can see that they're in a first dimension, like it's that flat. So that's one of the things so we're aware of them, but they're not aware of us. We know their beginning and end. We truly know their beginning and end, but they can still take action in things. It doesn't mean that these little things don't have choice. So I'm trying to give an example how an entity can know the beginning and end of something, but still in that you have choice. Right? So my example of proving that is that there's a small microscopic organism that operates in the first dimension. They're flat. They're not aware of any depth or anything like that. But we know their beginning and end, but they're not aware of it. Now, let's just say, I don't think that these things have a consciousness or they have choice, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, now that they did have choice, they'll still be able to go ahead and make choices, and we would still see their every move. You get what I'm saying? So, which would prove that a being in the fifth dimension or any dimension higher than us that's not bound by time like we are, time, space, and matter like we are, they'll be able to know the beginning and end, but we can still make choice. You get what I'm saying? So I know your other question that you said too, that you was like, it really doesn't make sense, where if we have free will, then, well, it was a kind of a question that you posed, but I guess I'll just give an answer to it. So one of the reasons how you know we have free will, like if you believe in God, is that God judges us. If we did not have free will and we did not have the ability to choose, then why would God judge us? What would be the reason for it? No reason for the judgment. He already knows, who's going to heaven, who's going to hell. We're not going to have no judgment system. I'm going to take these people and those people I'm not going to take. It's very simple, right? So why have a judgment system? Why even say that something is sinful? I repeat, why even have this system where you distinguish versus something that's morally good and immoral if there isn't any free will? The only reason why we have a system and God judges based off of a system that's things are immoral and morally good is because you have choice. If you didn't have any choice, then everything would be amoral.
Okay, so I have a couple problems.
What problem do you have with that? It doesn't have to be a debate. It could turn into one if you want, or it could just be a discussion. But what problems do you have understanding that?
A discussion could be a debate as well.
Go ahead. What problems do you have with that?
So the first one was like the dimension thing. Maybe it's not. Maybe just the example is not a good example, but microbes exist in the third dimension as well as us.
Then it isn't microbes. It's something else. That's why I said don't take me on the microbes thing. I Googled it before when I prepared for a debate with one of the Hebrew Israelites where we didn't actually have a debate on this type of conversation of free will. We had a different debate on free will, but I prepared for it and I looked it up. Let me see if I can find it. I'll show you. I got you, man, because it is a fact. It's a little microorganism that is in the first dimension. Let's see here. But go ahead. While I'm looking this up, say what you wanted to say.
Okay, so let's ignore the microbes stuff. If you say that that God exists outside. Yeah, that he can exist outside of our dimension. It could exist in the fourth to whatever number of dimension there is. Well, you keep on saying he knows the beginning and the end, but he's all-knowing. He knows the beginning and the end and everything in between. That's the part that I think you keep missing. He knows everything in between the beginning and the end. So everything in between the beginning and the end will consist of everything we do. He knows the results of he started this whole thing and he's seen the whole movie. He wrote the whole script. He knows the whole result. So he knows everything we will do. Within that kind of world, how does free will exist? Because even in the Bible, Jesus knew that his plan will come true. The Bible, the Revelations is the evidence of predestination. Like you can't say that. It does not make sense that there is free will and predestination at the same time. You get what I'm saying?
So yeah, I don't. Well, that's the thing. I don't believe in that. That's two different things. So there we go. Now I fully understand what you're saying. Now it makes sense. So if you believe in things that are predestined, then that's much different, right? That's much different than holding on to the belief of free will. You get what I mean? So yeah, I don't believe in destiny. I don't believe in fate. I don't believe in those things. That's the opposite of free will. And when it comes to God himself, what I'm saying is, in order for us to even it's hard for us to even conceive of it because the dimension that we're in. In our dimension, we are bound by time, space, and matter. God is not bound by time, space, or matter. So how we make sense of it is, well, how can he know everything, and how can we have choice at the same time? You get what I mean? So within that, we still have choice. And not only do we have choice, the thing is, God wants us to choose. So I think you're almost asking the wrong question. God wants us to choose. The reason why God wants us to choose is because God wants us to choose him. Right? If he doesn't want, if we don't have any choice and free will isn't a thing, right? So here's let's break it down differently before we get in that, because I think I want to tackle more of your understanding of it. So when it comes to free will, this doesn't mean that your will can't be, infringed on. Your will can definitely be infringed on, right? You walking down the street, you get hit by a car. Your life, now you're dead. You get what I'm saying? Or you're driving. You get what I'm saying? Like Kobe Bryant in the helicopter crash. Well, it's like, all right, well, yeah, we got free will, but it's based off of if someone else's free will is going to impede on ours. Make sense? So that's that, meaning that that's free will, but then if we're speaking about free will of choice, that's a different conversation. The free will of choice, God wants us to choose him. So here's a analogy. You got any kids?
No.
You got a girl?
No.
You ever had a girl that loved you? Dang, nigga, you need to go. Nigga, why you on the stream, nigga? You need to go. All right, let me not choose you. Let me just give the. Let me just give the example without using you. So, God wants us to choose him because God wants us to love him, right? In order for God to receive love, he has to give us choice, or it won't be love. It won't be genuine, right? So like if you're in a relationship with the girl and you're controlling her every move and her every behavior, and you're making her love you, like, yeah, girl, you got to love me. Sit in this closet. Like you constrain her to telling you like, oh yeah, I love you, just so she can get some freedom every now and then. And you can she can eat a meal because you're like controlling her and she's telling you that she loves you. Well, any smart person would know that ain't truly love, right? Like you don't actually know if this person is loving you because you're like forcing her to say it and you don't know that it's genuine, right? So when we say that God knows the beginning and the end, he's not forcing us to make these choices. He just knows the beginning and the end is because he's not bound by time like we are. The only way the girl in that scenario can love you is unless you let her be free and make her own choices. Because then if she chooses you, she love you. You get what I'm saying? That's the same thing with God. Yeah. Why would God make this value system and everything in this judgment system if it wasn't free for us to do? If this choice that we have wasn't free? Like, the only way God can receive love is unless we have free will. And the only way that we can love God is unless we have free will. Or if not, we're robots and everything is predetermined. And then, well, why would we even on this earth have any judgment systems if everything is predestined to be?
I mean, that could also be possible. That's not an impossibility. It's God, right? So
wait, you said that it's not impossible for God can do anything he wants, but it isn't logical.
To us.
No, like it isn't.
But to God.
No, like it isn't logical.
Let's say you created.
God created us in his image, though, right? with
in His
in
image.
his image, with his likeness and everything like that. God created us in his image. So these, let's say prior to the fall, the tendencies and everything that we have, God has as well too. But God just isn't bound by time, space, and matter like we are. That's the only thing. That's what I would say that makes him God. He's not bound by time, space, or matter. He's the Almighty. He's the creator to everything, the beginning and the end. So I think that's a good argument there, man. So just focus on that maybe. Like, since God, that God wants to receive love, and the only way that he can receive love is unless the love is genuine, and that's the only way he would know that is really love, unless it's genuine and it's not forced. And the only way that it can be genuine without it being forced is unless it's free. It's a free choice to love him. And that goes with everything. That goes with your mom, your sister, the girl that you're talking to, your employee, the job that you work at. Like,
But isn't that like just our understanding of God? If let's say you created,
well, this is why DEI is immoral. This topic may be a little bit too deep for you, but I'm just going to go down another rabbit hole. But I'll explain real quick to the chat too. The first clip I reacted to was Malcolm X. If you people was watching the stream, was Malcolm X saying that DEI programs is immoral. So say if you have a program, it's not based off of merit, meaning that they didn't actually earn it, but it's just you're selecting people based off of just them being diverse, based off of their ethnicity, then is it genuine?
No.
Yeah, it isn't genuine. So it's immoral.
Here's DEI. I have an argument for DEI.
Let's bring up Mueller. I see he came back in. I think he wants to join this convo. Maybe he has a different perspective on this. What's going on, Mueller?
Hey, yo. So I was going to ask you, brother, so you believe that you're predestined, meaning you don't have free will?
You said, repeat that question,
So
please?
you don't believe you have free will?
It's not that I don't believe, I don't know.
Oh.
But it's more of a probability.
Yeah,
with everything
he wants some convincing.
All the knowledge we know.
He wants some convincing.
Yeah, but
with all the knowledge we know already, from the Bible to everything, it's probably the probability that we don't have free will is higher than the probability that we do have free will.
Yeah, but where are you getting that? That's what my question is. Are you getting that from the Bible? Or is this your own are you observing facts in the world? Or how are you coming to that?
I mean, do you believe in predestination?
Yeah, predestination to what? I don't believe in predestination.
Like the Bible predestines the revelation, right?
What do you mean predestine the revelation? What do you mean by that?
The revelation in the Bible is a predestination of what's going to happen.
No. So the revelation is just a prophecy. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're confusing two different things. So one is what you're talking about is foreknowledge, that God could give men information prior to the event happening. Right. That's prophecy.
Real quick, Zach, I see you in here. Hey, Zach, write me in a private chat. Let me know what you want to debate about. I could either bring you up here in this discussion, or I could bring you up after this discussion. Let me know in a private chat, Zach. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and this is the mistake that a lot of the Hebrew Israelites make too, is that they believe there's no Hebrew. I know you're not a Hebrew Israelite. It doesn't sound like it. But I'm saying they make the same mistake.
No, hell no.
Yeah, they read the Bible that way. So if you're asking what predestination is, the Bible only says that you're predestined to be like Christ. There's no place that it says that you're predestined to be in him. So when it comes to predestination, you're going to read in the Bible that there's things that men are receiving revelation. That revelation that's given them from God is foreknowledge. Now, can God intervene into creation, like Cooley says, and do what he wants, flood, etc.? Yes. But that's not the question. The question is, are we asking if God predestines real things, like not, put Coke to Pepsi or what you ate this morning? Does he predestine you to accept him? That's the real question. So what do you believe? Do you believe that God predestines you to pick him or to love him and to be somebody who follows him? That's my question for you.
Okay, yeah, I don't know about those three things. I don't know anything about it yet. But your argument,
Mhm.
what you said about foreknowledge is kind of making sense. It's kind of like
Okay.
connecting
Yes.
Well,
there. Could you go deeper on
Yeah.
that?
So there's three.
Because like
There's
the
three.
difference between
Yeah.
foreknowledge. Okay, so foreknowledge,
Hmm. Hmm.
predestination, and God being all knowing. There is a relationship there.
Correct. Good. Yeah. So far you've laid this
So
out. So if God is going to reveal himself to men and through men, he does that through prophecy or knowledge. So he can give them knowledge of what happens in the future. But because God knows what's going to happen in the future, or he's given knowledge to men that something's going to happen in the future, it doesn't mean that he determines it. That doesn't follow.
Yeah,
You
that's what
follow?
I was trying to
okay,
explain to you
so
before.
Right.
okay, so what happens in the future can't change. That's what you're saying.
No, what happens in the future is being told to a person in the past. So I'll put it to you this way. So let's say I ate cereal this morning, or let's say you ate cereal this morning. Is there a way for you to go back and change that you ate cereal this morning?
No,
Okay, why not?
because I can't.
Okay, well, because it happened, you can't change it. The same thing. So because God knows something's going to happen in the future, gives it to man, and man knows what's going to happen in the future, it doesn't mean he's bound by it as a rule of, well, I can't change it. It's because we know the principle. You can't change something that's already taken place. Foreknowledge is just telling us what's already taken place. So what happens is the human mind, what they want to do is they want to change foreknowledge to predestination. They want to change it to because the person knows about it or God knows, therefore he determined it. It doesn't follow.
well,
Right?
Okay.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Hey Zach, thanks for joining the stream. Not sure who you are, but you put in a private chat that you wanted to debate on predestination. So Zach, where you from? You know, give me your
Yeah,
little intro.
so from I live in Birmingham, Alabama. Kaz TV on Instagram, and we've messaged a couple times back and forth. I like what you do, these debates and everything. I like your channel.
Appreciate
I
it,
just
man.
wanted to hop on to explain one thing about the predestination thing to my man up here. So, if we're talking about from a biblical perspective, right? God does give free will. You look at, I think it's Second Samuel, First or Second Samuel, where David is running from King Saul. Okay, he's not the king yet, so he's running from King Saul. He's staying in a town, and if you can pull this up uh, online, we can read the actual verses right there verbatim. He's running from Saul, and then he inquires of the Lord. He prays, and
You want
he
me to
says,
bring my Bible and read it?
"Yeah, yeah." Let's look up the verse. Um,
All right.
Well,
so so
but in the end, you believe in free will. Is that what you're getting at?
yes, I believe in
Oh,
free
okay,
will.
okay, good. Just want to make sure. All right, go
So
ahead.
so David gets to.
Said it's what?
Let's look up the verse. I think it's uh, just look up. David flees from Saul and hides in a certain town or something like that.
Well, if you don't know the verse, just give us the principle, bro, because he's
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can break it down. You can give us a
Okay. He
principle.
said he was trying to look it up in his Bible.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
basically, David is in this town and he prays to God and says, God, will Saul come down and will these people turn me over? God says, yes, Saul will come down to get you and to the town to get you. And when he gets there, the people are going to turn you over. When David hears that, he just says, okay, well, I'm going to leave before Saul even gets here. So he leaves. And guess what? Saul never came down to the city. The people never turned him in, even though God said that would happen. So the fact that there is there, if like you said earlier, if God knows something, that means that there's it's going to happen, right? Not necessarily, because we're not outside of time. We don't understand. Our mind can't comprehend what it's like being outside of time. We don't understand that. So a lot of people, like my man over here said, is they'll try to say, okay, well, if God says something or knows something, that means it's predetermined to happen, which isn't always the case. And we see that literally right there in the scriptures. And we see it, another situation similar to that. with
Yeah,
somewhere
the
else
principle,
in
it
the
just
Bible.
doesn't follow logically. That's the key. Even if you see it in scripture, we could say that God intervenes in creation. We know that. The question is that you're honing on specifically. If man has knowledge from God about future events, doesn't mean he caused it. Now, are there future events that God can cause and intervene? Yes. But what you're seeing in scripture is that the important things of life, like whether you choose God, whether you become a jerk off or a criminal, those are your choices. God is not making those choices for you. And this is a doctrine that's online that can be really, really confusing, and it's in Christianity. And honestly, it can be very, very damaging to people. It causes a lot of atheism. I'll be frank, man. People leave God because they think that that's the case, and there's nothing in the scripture that says that. So does that
100%.
make sense, old brother?
Okay. Is it possible?
Hmm.
Is it possible that in that situation where God tells David what's going to happen, is it possible that God already knew what was going to happen, that David was going to leave, and he told David anyway to test if he will stay there or not?
I mean, it's possible you can see that in the
But here's
scripture,
the
but the
but here's the
principle is the
thing.
same, though.
Here's the thing. The fact that it's contingent upon it happening whether David does something shows that there's free will. Does that make sense? So even from that standpoint, you're saying that it's
Okay.
contingent upon
Okay.
man's will in what they decide to do. That's what's determining the outcome. So God is even having
Yeah,
to
I'm
rely
not familiar
on
with
what this
what
person's
passage.
doing.
I'm not familiar with what passage you're talking about, but bro, I'll
Yeah,
just keep it a buck, bro. You're making this way too complicated. The Bible states from beginning to end that you have the ability to choose, straight up. So
Where?
start in Genesis chapter 1. Go ahead and go to the creation. All right.
Yeah.
Does man have a choice to choose to obey or not to obey? Starts there. All right.
Where? Please.
Genesis.
I'm not trying to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like arrogant
Genesis.
or
You can
something. I'm
start
trying
in
to learn.
Genesis chapter 2. Read into the creation story, and you're told that
Chapter 2, verse what?
you want to pull up the scripture right now. Yeah, if you want to read it.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm on it. Chapter 2, verse.
Hold on, let me pull it up, bro.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, good conversation, fellas. Guess it's taking us all three of us to convince this guy.
So at the end of chapter 2, you already see that they have a wife. They're in verse 25. So we can start into Genesis chapter 3, and this is where the temptation comes from the serpent, and he has the conversation, and then you see in Genesis 3, you can start at verse 8, or I'm sorry, verse 6. It says the woman saw the fruit of the tree was good and was pleasing to the eye, also desirable for gaining wisdom. She took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her. So from the very beginning, creation, that's something that she was tempted and made a choice, and then of course she went to the husband and he had a choice as well.
Okay. Would you say it was like, would you say there was sin before she ate the apple
The power
or
you're
the
you're
fruit?
saying the power of sin. That's
It's,
what the
sin is the power?
Yeah, that's what the Bible describes. In Romans, Paul says that the power of sin came into the world. Let me ask you a question. Did Satan sin before Adam?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He did sin
So then the
for Adam.
question is how that works. You have to ask yourself what the scriptures tell us. What we know is that sin entered the world, and Paul describes it as a power. There's some crazy loonies on YouTube, Christian YouTube right now, that are saying sin is an identity and it's something different. There's a bunch of Gnostic weird teachings. The power of sin came into the world, and it's described that way. And it seems to be a power that Satan, obviously through temptation, it's part of the whole plan of the kingdom of darkness. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think God allowed sin?
What do you mean allowed it?
Yes, 100%. Yes,
Do you think he allowed this,
yes. When
What
you
do you
allow,
mean? But
when
what
he
do you mean
allowed
by
Lucifer to
allowed it? You
betray
think
him?
he approves of it or allows it? Because obviously Adam
No,
continued to live, so he allowed it.
yes, he allows
I
it.
mean, no, he allowed it to begin in the first place because
Yeah, yeah.
for
So
in
here,
order for Adam to even sin in
yeah,
the
you're
first
getting
place, this Satan has to sin.
Yeah, so you're getting to the idea of free choice. So this is what Cooley was trying to tell you about. So the way we can at least surmise from the Bible and our existence is that if there is a creator, then that creator would be all powerful, all good. And the only way you can come to a conclusion that there's an all powerful and all good being is that that being would have to be what? Just, right? Loving. And the only way that can exist, that's what the Bible says, it's God is love. You're aware of that, right? So the only way that that God
Okay,
can exist is that beings have to have free will. We know the angels do.
it will be just according to our standards. If God
No.
created everything, then
Hmm.
with all respect to him, he could set us up in whatever movie set he want us to, and just let us run and think that there's justice and good and evil, and
Well,
just
then
watch.
that wouldn't. Then you'd have to explain logically how you come to what is good and the explanation of good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to ground yourself.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He could he
Well,
could
it's not he.
he
It's
could give us an idea of good and
right.
evil and let us run with it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but if you're saying is he could give us an idea, are you then saying that ultimately there is no objective right and wrong, good and evil?
That's not what I'm
You
saying.
literally just said that.
Yeah, that's what that means.
Okay, listen. Okay, so
Well, let me ask you this, bro.
if
I
you
know where
like,
you're going. So let me ask you this. Is there objective right and wrong, good and evil?
I believe in objective morality,
Okay. Do you believe in objective truths outside of morality? 2 plus 2 is 4,
like
bro.
math.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So how are those objectively true?
Uh, because God wrote them into the universe to be
So
true.
then they're grounded, they're objectively true because you believe ultimately God is truth. They're grounded in God. All right. So therefore, it follows that if that's where the source of this good is, then this good or this logic that you're coming to, there's no way that we could at least deduce from what you're telling me that he's truth and logical that he would present therefore a lie. A matrix that would then tell us you're doing this, but it's really not good. Right. And
Okay, so
if you do, let me
good,
just tell you that the Bible tells you who that would be. He says it would be Satan.
Satan.
Yeah.
The, I believe in God, right? I'm just trying to make. I'm just trying to connect
No, you're
Trying,
postulating
the.
some ideas about how
yeah.
how the world could
I'm not. I'm
work,
not trying to
but
be a heretic or
no,
something.
no,
I'm
no,
trying to like make it
totally,
make sense.
totally not.
You understand?
I totally understand,
Yeah,
bro.
no, no,
And
you're being
no,
genuine
you're
with your
good, bro.
questions, man.
You're
That's why
good.
I got you up here, and I bring some other people in here to have this discussion. So, but go ahead, Zach. You seem like you had another
By
question.
the way, the scripture earlier that you were looking to, 1 Samuel 23, is where
Okay. Okay.
David inquires the Lord. Essentially, he does something that changes the course of what would have happened or what God says was going to happen. So,
Okay.
just a simple
For
example
you
of how
brought
you
up
can see free
objective,
will played
objective.
out.
Oh my bad.
Say that again. Go ahead.
You brought up objective truths, right?
Yeah.
And that everything. The thing is, objective truth and objective morality are not linked
How can they not be linked if they're both objective?
because objective truth is material and abstract. Okay, so not objective
Mathematics is
truth
not
can be proven.
material.
Hey, Cooley, I'm going to
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead
yeah.
and
That's what
hop
I'm saying.
off. I
Objective
appreciate you
truth
having
can
me
be
on, man.
proven.
All right,
Appreciate
bro.
you,
It's
Zach. Have a
material
blessed
and
one, man.
All right.
abstract. It's material and abstract, but it can be proven. But objective morality is abstract.
Okay, so there's other things that are abstract that you consider objective. What's your point? You're saying they
I'm
exist.
saying that you're saying that because there's objective truth that that can be proven, that then God is good. Objective truth is not good or evil. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, but how would you know that it's not good or evil?
I mean, do you think objective truth is evil?
No, why would you ask me that? I'm asking you. I noticed that you went down a path and you stopped and you asked me a question. So,
No, no, no. I'm saying objective truth
right?
is not good or evil. It just is
Okay, how
truth,
do you know
right?
that? I just asked you. How do you know objective truth is not good or evil? How do you know that?
Yeah.
Four plus four. Sorry, 4 plus 4 is not evil or good.
Okay,
Can
I
I
know.
explain to Can I
Go ahead.
explain to him how objective truth made itself reality in the person of Christ?
Well,
Did
yeah,
you
but
know
that
that?
would be
No,
that. Yeah,
no, don't explain because that's not what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Okay,
It would
Sorry.
but
it would go past where he's at. So you're
right.
so I'm assuming, brother, you're not a Christian, right? As of right now, you're exploring the idea of God. Yeah.
Me, I'm a Christian.
Okay. So if you're a Christian and you believe in Christ, right?
And real quick, yo, can you
Yes.
hold your camera back a little bit so we can see full face? Because only your eyes is in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
It's kind of hard to hold it up.
Yeah. But I was gonna
Sorry.
say, so if you're a Christian and you're asking whether certain things are good or evil, so we get back to that. You said if 2 + 2 = 4, and 4 is not evil. I'm not making that. I'm asking whether there's objective truth. It must be grounded in something, right? That's objectively true, the source of all truth, right? It has to come from somewhere, and that's what you're asking. But you're already a Christian, I guess.
Yes.
How
Right.
did we get? How did we?
Yes. I believe objective truth and everything that exists in this universe comes from somewhere. If that's what you're asking.
Okay, so if you believe that,
Come from God,
but
basically.
okay, so then if you believe it comes from God, right? Then you would have to believe we just established that if we're talking about something that's good, and you said, well, how do you know it's good? So we're kind of there. So are you asking, how do you know something that is good is good? I think that's what you're asking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then
Abstract of the Bible.
Yeah.
then
Well,
Because God,
so,
through the Bible and Jesus Christ tells us what is good and
then
evil,
do you
right?
have doubt that Christ is good?
no, but he's
Yes, Christ is good
yeah, but he's
How do
asking
you
that.
know that? Is what he's trying to say. How do you know that?
because the Bible tells me
Yeah,
so.
So
but
the
he's
Bible
saying
also tells you that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the light.
I
Bruh.
know, but
So if
that's not
he's
what he's
already
asking,
being
brother.
Yes,
embodied
Brother.
as
I
the
already
truth,
believe all that. That's not what I'm
You're
talking
not.
about.
This is classic right here. Brother, you have to realize something. This is not the conversation he's having. You're totally missing it because you're
okay, guys.
interested. Yeah, you got it. You
Yeah,
got to
yeah,
go
yeah.
back
I was
here.
about to tell.
You're preaching the gospel to him. The brother already believes in Christ. He's
Yeah, he already
asking
believes in
Right.
Christ and stuff.
so he's asking philosophical questions. You got to catch this. Okay, so your question now is outside of the Bible. Okay, unfortunately, I'm going to have to reference the Bible, not on purpose. The Bible says that it is clear to every person, Romans 1, that you know and everybody knows because creation is testified to it by the
Yes.
things that are seen. Okay, that's absent of Christ, absent of you knowing good or evil. Right? He says that he testifies that you know these things and it's written on your conscience. So can we make the argument that if we didn't have the Bible, we could come to the conclusion that God exists based on the creation? I think that's what people
Yes.
have been talking about from day one. Mankind has always talked about that. So I think that right now the question that you're asking is how do we know good is good outside of the Bible? Well, there seems to be a conscience and a moral code that's written in all of us, and it has to be that it would follow that moral code, at least programmer, writer, is good because he's pointing to something that is loving, merciful. We have these definitions not only from the Bible, but we see them in expressions as human beings when we grow up. We tend to know this stuff. It's written on our hearts, our code. So, but yeah, outside of it, that's the argument, bro. So you as a Christian, you're making an argument that we as Christians make to say that's why there must be a God, because otherwise you can't substantiate anything. You're going to end up in literally limbo, going, well, I think this is good. I've had plenty of debates with the atheists when I go, and how do you know it's good? And then they'll say something like, well, everybody knows that that's good. Well, what about in this society? And they say it's not good. Well, they're wrong. Well, how do you know they're wrong? You can't say squat. You just got to wake up and hope that you don't get killed and you don't kill somebody, because in the end, killing's not wrong anyways. So without that, you're kind of toast. Well, go ahead, Cooley.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, man. Good job breaking that down to him. But yeah, man. To you, Div is Div, right? Yeah, to you, Div. I had many questions like that myself too. That the same question that you pose is similar to the question of, well, why did God create us? Right? It's like, well, why were we? It's that same type of question. And when you start thinking about that, it's like, bruh, you ain't gonna know.
Yeah,
Like,
mean,
it's you're gonna go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's true. You have conversations with atheists. These are deep questions, and they're good questions. Why did
Yeah,
God
they're good
create them?
questions for sure.
Yeah, but the best explanation for that is what I call the paternal argument. It's like, why do you choose to have kids? For instance, you're gonna have kids? I know Cooley's got kids. I got a daughter. Are you gonna have any kids? Do you want to?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm gonna have
Why do
kids.
you want to have
And
kids?
why? Yeah.
Because I want to be a father.
Amen.
That's it.
Okay, you want to be a father, and then you want love. That being a parent is the closest thing. It's being a parent is your way of getting as close as possible to unconditional love. Like when you love a chick, man, there's conditions on that. When you love your children, there's conditions, but it's the closest thing to unconditional love. But not only that, when you have a child, what you're doing is you're making a copy of yourself. So you're leaving a piece of you behind when you die. And you want to do that. Like you want to leave a piece of you because you know that you're not going to be on this earth forever, not going to live forever. So you want to leave a piece of you behind. So yeah, and that argument goes perfectly to answer those type of questions. But I mean, I have debates with, these atheists and type. They even go, whoa, what? Well, what if I don't want to have a kid?
Kids?
Yeah, what if I don't have any
okay.
kids? It's like, okay, nigga, well then you don't want to leave your legacy behind.
Yeah, but not only that, even if they make that argument, they say that they don't want to have kids. Okay, well then, do you think that God is wrong for creating creatures to love? And they'll be like, well, yeah, I do, because there's storms and a bunch of people can suffer. Okay, well, simply because you believe that people wanting to have children, it's the same concept, the same proposition. If you're gonna have a kid, trust me, they're gonna get sick, they're gonna be depressed, they're gonna break a bone, they're gonna get hurt. So are you a moral monster for wanting to have a child that's gonna feel pain? No, you're not gonna come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
So in the end, God said it was worth it, and we're all here. We're going to ultimately know deeply. I don't know. I was going to tell you, brother, real quick, because I know Cooley's probably going to hop off. In the private chat, can you see the private chat there, brother? Look in the private chat. I just dropped a link.
You're looking at private. Yeah, he dropped the link to his Discord. Go ahead and follow Muller on his Discord, man.
Yeah, pull up to the Discord, bro, and then we literally have conversations like this every day. So all the questions that you have that we talk about today, we have them in deep, and there's a bunch of brothers in there that can talk to you as well. So
Muller, you want to go ahead and shout out your stuff, man? What you got going on?
Oh, I appreciate that. Of course, the Truth Cartel is the YouTube channel, and then Discord is discord.gg/Truth Cartel. So that's a Christian community. It's about a couple thousand people there, but a few hundred that are pretty active, and it's all men, mainly young men, 18 to 25 is the prime demographic, and all we do is disciple people, teach them the Bible. We talk about philosophy a lot. So we try to get these men trained up, get them jobs, help them with everything from credit to the Bible, all practical things that Coley knows about. So, yeah, Truth Cartel channel for sure, bro. Click that link and I'll see you there.
Yeah, chat. Go check him out too. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Good guy. I talk to him behind the scenes, and he be speaking facts. So the love is real on this side, man. It's only right that I pass it down. Yo, fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. Get to the super chats and all that. But have a blessed one, Dev. All right, so we got a few super chats in here. Let's get to it. I think they were pretty old too. Back when I was debating the one guy about are people born gay, which he got obliterated. But okay, we got Michael Smith Jr. says Crockpot Cooley slow cooking. This dude bugging. Debating naturalist at the end. He always agree with you. New member, big ups to you. Yeah, they both agreed. Both of the people that I debated in regards to are people born gay. Like I defeated the one guy real quick. I didn't hold back, but the other guy, his debating tactics, he would just avoid. Like he'd never wanted to concede and fully answer certain questions. He would just avoid off of them. But that's how it is. If you learned anything, I'm sure you probably learned a lot of stuff from debate night today. But if you learned any debating tactics, be aware of other people's debating tactics and the tactics that they use to evade questions and avoids getting into certain arguments. Just look at I have debated two guys that believe that people are born gay, and both of them have the same belief but different tactics. And not only just different tactics, one of them was genuine in the discussion and honest, and the other one was not genuine and dishonest, meaning that he knew he lost that point, but he would evade off of it and, do some circular reasoning arguments type crap. But yeah, look at that. You'll learn a lot from it. But I'm used to it though. I'm definitely used to it. We got Michael Smith Jr. again supporting the podcast. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to you.
No Fugazee.
And shout out to you for being a new member, man. He says, this dude is pro bugging. Just like the lion, bro. Yeah, that lion analogy that he used, bro, I defeated them very quick in that lion analogy, very quick. We got Michael Smith Jr. again with another super chat. He says he needs a real friend with a side of milk. Okay, that was the most recent one that you put in there. I guess you were talking about Div. Yeah, in regards to that, man, sometimes that wasn't a debate. Sometimes I'll have discussions where I seen that Div was genuine and he wanted to know. So it's like, okay, I'll try to explain it the best I can myself. But then he's like, and then it's good. And I don't even think he was fully solid and convinced even after I brung up 3 other people that gave their perspective. I don't think he was still convinced. But when having those discussions, that's why we do debate night. I'll bring up some other people so they can give their opinions and perspectives on the topic and maybe can convince someone to the truth. Because I don't think that I know it all and stuff like that. So I do debate night so other people can, get theirs off too. So, but other than that, man, this podcast was no Fugazi. I didn't actually get to react to Candace Owens' interview with Theo Von and also The Breakfast Club. So guess what? I will be most likely doing another live stream tomorrow because I do want to get to that. I most likely will be doing another live stream tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then I'll react to those clips on Sunday debate night, because I know Friday we have a full panel. Oh, quick thing, since I got people in here, I got about not too many of you, just a little bit over 100 people in here. Everyone that's tuning in right now, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the bell icon. This Friday we have 8 girls coming from a reality TV show, which I'm going to announce on that day. You'll see. So we have 8 girls coming from a reality TV show that you'll see this Friday. It's going to be a crazy panel, a crazy podcast. You're going to like it. I predict that within these conversations that we have on the next panel, I mean, just as good as most panels, but probably going to be some viral type of conversations. Who knows? I don't know, but it seems that it's probably going to be that. So it's going to be dope. This Friday, full panel of girls. But other than that, man, I've been streaming for almost 4 hours, 3 hours and 50 minutes here. So I'm beat. Shout out to y'all that's been watching since the beginning. But other than that, man, this podcast with No Fugazi. Appreciate all y'all for staying up with me. If you're on the East Coast until midnight, and if you're on the West Coast, what is it? Like 8 or 9? It's like 8. Or no, it's 9 actually. But yeah, y'all pretty late too. All right, man, I'm out. I'm saying too much right now too. That's how you know I'm tired. Peace. This podcast was No Fugazi. Tune in